seasoned chicken breast on a fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit with bow rounds and your choice of drink. So when you're craving something bold, something different, something that takes breakfast to a whole new level, the Cajun Filet Biscuit is waiting for you, along with crispy bow rounds and a drink. Order in the app or at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Time to satisfy your craving for Cajun with a Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuits are served all day, every day. And with that biscuit, why not add Bo's Iced Coffee? That's right, Bo's Iced Coffee with sweet cream. Choose caramel or French vanilla. Bo's new Iced Coffee, a great way to sweeten your day. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
All of us have a role to play in promoting a mental health-friendly workplace.
Whether we're a CEO,
manager,
coworker,
or someone with a mental health condition ourselves.
So what can I do to help?
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Beautiful afternoon out there for us. High temperatures in the mid-70s, lots of sunshine, low humidity. Overnight tonight it's cool. We drop down to right around 50 degrees. And then tomorrow, lots of sunshine, but warmer. We'll see a high of 80 degrees. And then a cold front comes through tomorrow night with a chance of storms.
This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you contact your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 67 points to 49,722.
Blake with a shot, they score! It's deflected out in front. Jackson Blake continues his torrid pace in this series, and the Canes have tied it up at 1. Stick out in front, Stankoven scores! Logan Stankoven comes up with a monster goal. Whips it across, Blake with a shot, he scores! It's over! Series over! Jackson Blake wins it in overtime!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Going up on a Tuesday? Darn right we are. Still waiting around for the second round on a Tuesday? Sorry, for the third round? Second round to end? On a Tuesday? Darn right we are. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox here as well, producing the show. NBA Combine going on. That's how you know that your hockey team has made the playoffs, like open and shut, and you're just waiting around. We're ready for these conference finals, but first let's watch these basketball players that we just watched run and jump all year. Let's make sure they can still run and jump, huh?
It's weird. We don't get jazzed up for the NBA Combine like we do the NFL Combine.
I just don't think there's enough. Right, with just 2 rounds and so few players on a basketball court, these guys are scrutinized a ton. Never, hey, I found an awesome 4th-round pick from a small school because he ran a fast 40.
True.
But I do think the heights and weights are funny because everybody loses an inch and a half at the NBA Combine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is just the start of it, and we start the show the same way every single day, and that is with the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
The Canes were back on the practice ice today. By the way, before we really get started, Big 3 at 3 presented by Mainer Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, whatever you need worked on in your house, fixed in your house. Mainer Service Company. Check them out online, MainerServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. As I started to say there, number 1, the Canes were back on the ice. They had a couple days off. A little time to get rested. Some of the new fathers could get some good cuddling time in with their brand newborns. But the best news of the day when it comes to being back on the ice, when it comes to them starting their preparation for either Montreal or Buffalo, is simply everybody was on the ice. Right? There was a full contingent of players, which even though they had a nice break, they had a week off between the first round and second round, there was drama each day because it was, what is Nikishin doing? He was in concussion protocol. Is he skating? Is he in a non-contact sweater? What is Ehlers doing? Because Nikolai Ehlers had missed Game 4 of the Ottawa series. Is he out there? Who's he skating with? There's probably going to be a longer break this time, and there's less, waiting for news to break about who's suited up at each practice. And I'm choosing to look glass half full at it all. I'm choosing to look glass half full at every bit of it. And maybe as it goes along, I might change up on that a little bit, right? And then the longer the break I might start going, it feels long. You might be losing some mojo. But at the moment, I think it's just all good. I think it is all good. They took care of Mark Jankowski's contract. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Just some busy work, right? Hey, if we got the time, might as well hash it out with the representation. There's a lot of really good stuff going on. The vibes are high. The health is high. You just want to make sure everybody is cruising and moving towards Buffalo or Montreal. Speaking of Buffalo, Montreal, I did ask on my social media today, considering that the series right now is still up for grabs, right? Montreal leads 2-1. I asked all of you, and you can still head to my Twitter or my x.com account, at Donnelly Sports. I asked if the hockey gods made you choose, who would you pick for the Canes' opponent in the Eastern Conference Finals? Right now, on hundreds of votes, there's Buffalo, 77.3% is the choice. I wish I would have asked when it was 1-1, because part of me just thinks we just watched Montreal win 2 in a row, so now everybody wants to face Buffalo. But it is, I think it comes down to a goaltending thing, is kind of the most cited response, reasoning in the comments.
Yeah, I don't think we know who's even starting tonight for Buffalo in Game 4. I think it's might be going back to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Not entirely sure.
It's not great when you're at this point in the season going, I have no clue, and it's not because, two guys are playing so well, you know what I mean? The other thing that's referenced a bunch, and I hope this isn't the case, is Montreal did get the better of the Canes in the regular season this year, and not many did. I actually hope that would make you want to play them more. Leave no doubt type stuff. But that's just a competitive issue. We can talk about reasons later.
I don't think it matters, to be honest, but that's just me.
I think that's why I did phrase it, the hockey gods are making you choose.
Yeah.
Not like, they give you the chance to choose, because you could just go, dealer's choice, whatever you want. No, I'm saying they are forcing you, the metaphorical gun to your head hypothetical question. You have to choose, because I do love the idea of whoever it is, line them up, we're knocking them down. I like that as a attitude a little bit better. That is number 1. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
The spring meetings for the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, are going on. Coaches, athletic directors getting together, talking about the big picture stuff, right? The future of sports. This is where traditionally, and not always at the formal meeting, sometimes, at a dinner after, grabbing drinks, sometimes bumping into each other in the lobby. This is where the, conference realignment conversations start, or this is where the rule change conversations start. You're floating things. It doesn't appear as if there's going to be gigantic changes happening, right? Partially because I think darn near every team is dealing with their own changes.
I thought this stat was, by the way, a lot of this reporting done by WRAL sports investigative reporter Brian Murphy. 16 of the ACC's 18 members, and we're including Notre Dame there as a member, 16 of the 18 ACC members have changed either their president, chancellor, like head of the whole school, or their athletics director in the last 2 years. That's big change for athletics programs. The only two that haven't are Duke and Florida State, who have remained stable. Other than that, every other team in the ACC has either changed their president or chancellor, like their head honcho, or their athletic director in the last 2 years. So it's almost like, we can't do big changes because everybody's just getting their feet wet and not quite ready to, shake things up. Which is a really interesting place for the ACC.
I didn't think about that. You think about all the new coaches that we have in the ACC in football and men's basketball, but I didn't even factor in the athletic directors and the people that actually run the schools.
So it's I'm just getting to know my coach. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm new. They're new. The people we're talking to are new at these. There's a lot of just kind of like, hey, can we chill for a minute? And then on top of that, you don't know how the rules that are already in place are being enforced. The College Sports Commission sent which is the group that does NIL, the group that suggests the tournament expansion and everything. They sent their executive director to speak to the ACC, and his name Seeley is his last name there. It's a really Brian Sealer, excuse me. He's basically saying everybody wants to know which rules are going to be enforced, which is hilarious from the guy that's helping set the rules. Which rules lead to real enforcement and which real enforcements will be thwarted by lawyers or thwarted by others. So the real questions that teams are asking are like, okay, what are the rules? And I have a follow-up for you as soon as you're done. Which of those rules actually matter and which of those rules are just, like a speed limit on a country road. Keep it close and you're okay. Which one of those is actually happening? So there's some clarification going on at the ACC meetings, more so than maybe innovation happening at the ACC meetings. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Duke fans, meaning basketball fans, I think you should be a little nervous. We talked about the NBA Combine going on. John Blackwell, the big high-profile transfer from Wisconsin. He's starting to sound significantly more like a maybe making his way to Duke, where when he committed, it seemed like a going to Duke. John Blackwell spoke with Andy Katz of NCAA.com and a few other outlets about possibly going to the NBA. Again, he's at the Combine and still has his name in the pool. He can withdraw up till May 27th, but possibly going to the NBA over Duke. Here's Blackwell talking with Katz.
It's up there right now. I'm just trusting God through the process. I would love to play for a prestigious college like Duke, but chasing my dreams right now and just, weighing what's best for me. Coach Shire's been helpful through the process, and the whole coaching staff at Duke has been helpful through the process. And in my opinion, it's a win-win situation with both, because I get to play at the best college in the country, or get to live out my dreams and play in the NBA.
That's not super, hey, I'm coming back. I think that actually, I don't want to say like, it's a good thing, but it does make sense of some of the moves that their roster has made recently, where they appear to be preparing for if a player like Blackwell doesn't show up. Because right now, with the players they've brought in, there's only one basketball to go around, and Blackwell is good enough to have it for a large portion of each game. And I'm not sure there'd be a lot of super happy individuals that their roles would be reduced. So if he stays in the NBA, I think Duke is fine. If he returns, I think they're looking at real juggernaut status again. So we'll wait and see. But up in the air is not necessarily how you want to hear him describing things if you're a Duke fan and you were banking on him being the main scorer on your team. Elsewhere from the Combine, Matt Abel out there still performing, measured in a little bit, and we're talking former NC State guard committed to UNC. he's been listed at 6'5" most places. Turns out he's a little under 6'4", but he does have the wingspan, so still has a nice standing reach. We'll see if that impacts his decision to stay or go in the NBA draft. And then there's the obvious I'm stayings, the Caleb Wilsons, the Cam Boozers. They're not going anywhere. Isaiah Evans, it feels 100% going. Henry Vasar feels like he's 100% going. But I guess technically they could all remove their names from the NBA draft by May 27th.
Pretty sure Cameron Boozer's going to go.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what? It seems likely. Sarcasm, I hope you detect it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. With some time here between the second round and the Eastern Conference Finals for the Canes, I want to ask this question because everybody else is assuming. Is this the same old Carolina Hurricanes? Stick around.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier Factory Authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Now Aho back across Svechnikov. He's got to go skate to stick. He goes low to high for Gauze to spare. Now send it cross. They score! It's a power play goal! Andrei Svechnikov. It's the second power play goal of the game, and the Canes have a 3-1 lead here in the third.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. There are pros and cons to, reputations. Usually they start with at least a grain of truth, and sometimes reputation could be something that is a huge asset for you. Right? If you have a reputation as a sports team that gets the most out of their players, it's a great reputation to have around free agency time when players have options. If you have a reputation as a college team, say a college football team, something like, we're wide receiver U, it's pretty good around recruiting. And the crazy part is, it doesn't necessarily have to be true. If that's the reputation, right? Perception is reality. So the Canes right now have a reputation. They've actually got probably, 3 or 4 reputations. Right? They got a reputation for playing the entire ice, right? You got to play offense and defense to play for the Carolina Hurricanes. You have the Rod Brindamore reputation that he's the former player that gets it and he runs the show. They have these reputations, and one of them is, and I mean it starts with at least a grain of truth, they're the team that, due to their style of play, can't win the big one in the postseason. Because they haven't done it in 20 years, and they haven't done it with this core. They haven't made it to the Stanley Cup final with this group. Now, that's the reputation. If you get further into it, and you're somebody like us, or you're somebody like a diehard Carolina Hurricanes fan, and you watch every single game, it takes you about 2 seconds to point out how this team is different than the ones that earned that reputation. Right? First of all, and I mean, you could start with the negative. They aren't as good defensively, statistically, in a lot of ways, as they have been in recent years. Their penalty kill wasn't as good this year during the regular season. It's been great in the postseason, but the numbers show it took a step back in the regular season. They score a ton more than they've scored with this group. Matter of fact, they've scored more goals this regular season than they did in any Canes season in history. So maybe they're not the lethargic, boring offense, exceptional defensive squad that they've been in the past. They made the big move, but they made it earlier by acquiring guys like Nikolai Ehlers and Keandre Miller.
They were second in the NHL in the regular season in goals scored.
They're second in the NHL.
Only 7 less goals than Colorado.
But the reputation is they're chunk and dunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
They chip it in. They're a ton of shots, but all low leverage. They don't get rush opportunities. Like, that's the reputation. And the funny part is, and it's frustrating as heck to me, is there's only one way they can push back against that reputation. And it's to win the East. That's the only way they can push back against that reputation, which is ironic because the reputation I just gave you, there's a lot of style. There's a lot of scheme, right? There's a lot of like statistical parts of that. But no, they could be the highest scoring. Let's say they scored 8 more goals than they did, and they outscored Colorado, and they were the top scoring team in the league. They would still have the reputation that they have unless they win the East. And vice versa, by the way. Let's say they had an old school, like, super stereotypical season, and they were not anywhere near the best goal scorers in the league, and they didn't have all those 20-goal scorers, but they won games anyway with a ridiculously suffocating defense and a great penalty kill and everything else. If they went ahead and won the East, everybody would pretend like they did it in a different way. And the reason it's frustrating to me is because the conversations start sometimes specific on the Carolina Hurricanes and what they are and what they're doing, and this is why I don't trust them, and this, they might bring up individual players, they might bring up Rod Brindamore, they bring up all these things, and then once you flesh it out, it all just boils down to, well, they haven't won the East yet. And it happened with me on social media. I know social media is a dangerous place to go. But Johnny Lazarus, who I'm working to get on the show, host reporter for the Daily Faceoff, started talking about the Canes, and he started talking about, like, we don't hate the Canes as national media. It's just we've said everything we could say about them. There's nothing new to say. It's always the same, and everybody respects them. It's just about, if there's anybody out there that can beat them. And I was snarky. I was frustrated. We went back and forth a few times, and then it eventually boiled down to Johnny telling me, yeah, look, I agree this team looks better in the past, but, they were different with Gensel. Then they were different with Stankoven and Hall. Then now they're different with Ehlers and Miller. They're always different, but they're 1-16 in the Eastern Conference Finals since they won it in 2006. Nothing's different until they prove it. And do you know what's crazy about that? That's not frustrating to me. If you lead with that, that's not frustrating to me at all. That's facts, right? They're 1-16 in the Eastern Conference Finals since they won it all in 2006. And if because of that, you can't trust them because you've seen for, over a decade now, them have the chances and not convert, that's fine. But don't pretend it's about something else when they've fixed or changed that something else. Don't pretend, that system will never work. You need to have more goal scoring. And then we with facts just go, well, actually, no. This team is different than those that didn't get over the hump for that reason. Well, no, but and then eventually you just get to, they're 1-16. They've run into teams in the Eastern Conference Finals that for the most part have had their number. Okay. But if that's the reasoning, don't reverse engineer and come up with a bunch of other stuff. It's the same old Canes. Well, actually, this year's team, as he brought up, has Nikolai Ehlers, has Keandre Miller. Last year's team didn't. This year's team has Alexander Nikishin. Last year's team had a version of him for a couple games, but didn't really. This year's team is different in a lot of ways than it was last year. I can guarantee you last year's team would not have survived as long as the Canes have already this postseason with Aho, Svetch, and Jarvis scoring as few amount of goals as they have. It would not have happened. This year, they've handled it. Not only have they handled it, they've thrived with it. They haven't lost. So they are a different team. They are not the stereotypical Canes team of the last 8 seasons. They are not what their reputation says they are. And they might still end their season at the same level they have in 2 of the last 3 years. They might. It would be for different reasons. So if you want to sit back and say, because I've seen them lose in the Eastern Conference Finals X amount of times, I refuse to believe in them until they win the Eastern Conference Finals, I can't argue with that. I might disagree with it. I might say that's pretty, results over process-based logic, but I can't argue with it. But if you want to talk process, they have routinely, when they've fallen short, looked at the process, fine-tuned their attack, changed it at times, done different things at times, and gone forward with something different, which is all you can really do. All right, we fell short of our goals. Let's try to figure out why we fell short of our goals. Let's take the top 3 things. Let's fix those and try again. All right, we fell short of our goals again. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's figure out why. Let's try to fix it and move forward again. They've done it. And whether it's this year, whether it's last year when they tried to add Mikko Rantanen and then pivoted obviously to Stankoven and they brought in Hall, or it's the year before with Gensel, or it's even the year before adding Orlov, like they've definitely tried. Hasn't worked yet. I emphasize yet. It's been for similar reasons at times. It's been for different reasons at times. But don't pretend this is the same old Canes team. They might lose. I mean, I don't predict the future. I like their chances a lot against the eventual Montreal or Buffalo winner. I like their chances, but they might lose. And the frustrating part is everybody's going to turn around and go, Canes system and Canes player, they don't have the scorers. And I'm going like, well, actually, this year was different. But they're never going to get that credit until they at least win the East. Maybe they have to win a cup to shut everybody up. Do you know what's going to be the most frustrating thing in the world? And I might get real snarky with everybody. If they do win the cup and then everybody says, Florida's not there and Tampa wasn't Tampa and Dallas had a tough run through the West and all the dumb stuff. That'll frustrate me. If you win it all, you get to write history. You win it all, you get to pick your reputation because your reputation is that of a champion. But that's a story for another day. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on here, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. I was just talking to a friend. He was moving. I said, moving's the worst. You moving out of town, you leaving the area. He doesn't live around here. He said, nope, moving about 10 minutes away. I said, oh, all right. Well, guess what? The only reason he gets an opportunity to do that is if he agrees to sign up for a new mortgage. If he and his family look at the rates and it makes sense for them. And if you're in the same process, maybe you want to move cross town. Maybe you want a bigger house. Maybe you want to move closer to work. Maybe you want a smaller house. You're empty nesters now. You want to downsize. And you're looking at interest rates and there's this big obstacle you're trying to get by, which is closing costs. Remove that obstacle. How about that one? Call Miller Lending. Ask for the no-cost loan. Ask for the no closing cost loan. It takes one of those big hurdles, one of those obstacles that maybe have been the barrier to you getting that dream house cross town or upsizing, downsizing like you really want to. And if you remove that obstacle, maybe that changes the math for you. So call Miller Lending, get a no-cost loan, and see if that doesn't make it a little bit more palatable for you and your family financially. All you can do is call. All you have to do is call. It's no obligation, no cost to learn more. The number, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, the Dean's List. Who makes it today? Stick around to find out.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
Jungle Cash Word Scratch-Offs and Digital Instance games are here.
2 ways to play.
Yeah. Play Scratch-Offs like you do.
Scratch it.
Play Digital Instance on your phone.
2 ways to win.
Right. 2 ways to find letters and complete words. 2 ways to win up to $150,000.
That's a lot of crackers.
Jungle Cash Word from the North Carolina Education Lottery. 2 ways to play, 2 ways to win instantly. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.79 to 3.90. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Canes hockey is back, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Canes on the ice. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside, official hard tea and lemonade of the Carolina Hurricanes. Sold in arena and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Triple. Will kick it out for Vessar. Got it! A three-pointer on the money. With 12 seconds to play.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Good choice. I feel like that's some good music on a Tuesday. Get the crowd going. By the way, this question gets asked a ton. Anytime you have a song that you like coming out of break, people always compliment me, or they say, or whoever chose it. It's always whoever's sitting in the producer's chair. So I do my best to always tag Dennis and go like, that's all the fan rookie, which is his Twitter handle.
That's me.
Or Max Gorin if it's him or whoever. But if you like the music, it's not me. I enjoy the music, but I don't choose the music. That'd be Dennis there. So I like that one, and I'm passing a little compliment on Dennis. There you go.
And I used to use that one for the Dean's List a lot, like pretty much almost on a daily basis. I think it's the Southern Marching Band, playing Still Fly by Big Timers. So kind of makes sense for Dean's List. But I don't know, just like let me get back to that.
All right. I like it. I mean, you can use it whenever you would like. I trust you, but I liked it today. It gave me the proper vibe. That is, by the way, a lead into, as Dennis said, the Dean's List. Let's go ahead and fire up the class bell. This is where we highlight those directly or indirectly related to the college sports world that we hold so near and dear here in the Triangle. Dennis, was it Florida State and Georgia who bailed on a home and home?
Yeah, they canceled it, but they talked about maybe doing a neutral site together.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Then this is a follow-up. Brett McMurphy of On 3. I'm putting Florida State and Georgia, by the way, on the Dean's List.
Oh, okay.
Florida State and Georgia will play a neutral site game in 2028.
All right.
Florida State Athletic Director Mike Alford said. And here's an interesting part. They right now have 7 cities are in the running to host the game.
Oh, okay.
The cities are Atlanta, Charlotte, Miami, Nashville, New Orleans, Orlando, and Tampa. So could be right here in the state of North Carolina if Charlotte wins.
Interesting.
They're on the Dean's List for 2 reasons. One, how rare is it that they make like a hey, we're trying to promise, and then it actually happens.
For real.
So they had a home-and-home scheduled. Florida State they have a tough break because the ACC is adding another conference game, and it would have made their schedule a little difficult. So they agree to bail on the home-and-home, but they say in the announcement, like they're working on a potential neutral site game, which would be easier for them to work into the schedule. Like a week later, it turns out they have the neutral site agreed upon in 2028. That's one reason. The next, I like the idea of floating like 7 cities who it could be, and right, kind of the Duke Amazon thing, like figure out which is best financially for the two schools, like, which stadium's going to give you the best deal, which stadium is available maybe during a onesie, meaning if you can play on a Friday or a Thursday or a Monday when not a lot of other college games are going on. That's going to help TV ratings and everything, which are baked into how the ACC decides who gets the most media money. So I don't like it because it's Florida State, but I like the decision-making by Florida State and the fact that Georgia was willing to play along. It's just, we don't see that collaboration very often.
Yeah, I respect that they're doing that.
Yeah, I agree. And let the record show that we were big enough to compliment Florida State. Because probably tomorrow we'll have another reason to go, they stink.
Nah, that's true. They can still stink, but I give them credit where it's due.
Hat tip where it's due. More Dean's List. The coaches that were mentioned for the North Carolina head coaching basketball job. You can go ahead and add Iowa coach Ben McCollum to the list of Iowa State's TJ Otzelberger, Arizona's Tommy Lloyd, Vanderbilt's Mark Byington as the coaches that decided to stick around and got paid. McCollum has received an immediate $1 million raise on a 6-year contract he signed last week. They say just over a month. This is ESPN's announcement. After he led Iowa to its first Elite Eight appearance in 39 years. I say just about 3 weeks after he took his name out of the Carolina job running. So again, he was making $3.35 million this past year. He's now making $4.35, and it only goes up from there in the contract. Everybody that had their name connected to that Carolina job got paid, and it's still happening. So I guess Dean's List to them for generational money. Dennis, do you have somebody on the Dean's List you'd like to throw on here?
I do. I'm going to throw Canes prospect Charlie Serrato on the Dean's List out of Penn State. He actually signed his entry-level contract. It was announced today. He's been actually playing with Chicago on a PTO, professional tryout, but now has officially signed his entry-level contract. So good for him.
What kind of money? I know that these ELCs are good money. What kind of money is he looking at? Like, did he just retire the parents?
So for this year, this season, now again, this can be prorated for 2025, 2026. It's $775,000, but he receives $85,000 at the American Hockey League level for all 3 seasons. So again, depending on where you are. But the deal also includes signing bonuses worth $220,000. So there are some guarantees and stuff built in. Basically, that AHL money is guaranteed in regards to that. But if he makes it to the pro club next year or the year after, talking $850,000 a year or $900,000 in 27-28.
Is that prorated? So
for this year, it'd be prorated. Yeah.
So if he plays 4 games at the NHL level because he's called up, he gets whatever 184th next year. I think that's how many games they're playing.
Well, the way they do it in the NHL, you get paid year round.
Oh,
so you actually, once your contract starts July 1st, you start getting paid, and then you get paid all the way through June 30th. So it's not like in football.
Know all this. So
where
how do they decide how much? We can do this off air. How do they decide how much the NHL, it's just percentage of the year that you play for the NHL is what you get?
If you're up for that day, you get NHL pay for that day.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah. All right. I should know that. More Dean's List here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Michigan and UConn basketball.
Oh, is it because they play Duke this upcoming season?
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
This according to it was Rob Dost. Oh, no, sorry. It's Matt Norlander, CBS Sports. Michigan and UConn, a title game rematch in the first week of the season is now scheduled.
No way. That's awesome.
November 6th, Boston.
Heck yeah.
Dusty May, Dan Hurley. See, this is the one part I have an issue with. The scheduling is awesome. The scheduling is great. That is a really cool game. I hope it becomes like a thing where the national championship just goes run it back week 1 next year because it's a real cool kickoff event. But the way CBS phrased it, beyond that, Dusty May and Dan Hurley, the two coaches, are scheduling aggressively and trying to set the tone for the rest of the sport. Give them credit. There are other schools that have been scheduling aggressively that are also Duke, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
There are certain schools that may be the tip of the spear for scheduling aggressively before you get to Michigan and UConn. But I do like that they're jumping on board. I just don't know if they're setting the tone rather than maybe joining the tone.
What's the date of the game?
November 6th.
Yeah, I won't be watching.
Oh.
I get married the next day. I'm not going to be watching UConn Michigan basketball. I have a wedding rehearsal.
After the rehearsal, everybody gathers at a bar or something, throw the game on. Or you could just, focus on getting married. But that's up to you, really. You might also.
I'm going to go with the latter on that one.
You might also want to make sure Erin's aware that, hey, games are on a lot in my business.
She knows.
This is work.
I know. She knows. And you know what? I don't care about Michigan UConn in November 6th.
That's also true. But I do want to put them on the Dean's list just for scheduling that game. They don't have to do it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they should do I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like one of the unwritten rules, but the national championship, they play each other, but the whole whoever won gets to be the home team.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Or gets to choose the non-con or the neutral site.
Yeah. They're considered the home team.
Yeah.
They can choose a location if you want to play it truly at home, or if you want to play it United Center or something like that. Whatever.
I like it. Obviously, it would have to be as long as they're non-conference, because if it's the same conference, you're going to be playing in conference.
True.
But as long as it's a non-conference game, I like having all those unwritten rules and really shame them if they say no.
Right?
Old school peer pressure can help here. Couple more Dean's Listers quickly. Since boys volleyball is now a sanctioned high school sport here in the state of North Carolina, we need to start tracking the best teams. University of Hawaii beat UC Irvine men's volleyball national champions.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
I saw the headline today. Shout out to the Warriors, University of Hawaii, and go get those scholarships. North Carolina boys volleyball players that are now sanctioned. There's not a ton of boys volleyball teams in high school across the country, so you can go make those scholarships and try to win national championships. And then last one, just because I think it's, humbling, but also self-aware. Did you see Ryan Lochte's coaching college? He's assistant coaching college swimming.
Yeah, where at?
I have it all right here. So just Ryan Lochte, for those of you that don't remember, or maybe you'll be reminded, he's one of the best swimmers of all time. 6-time Olympic gold medalist, but he was kicked out of Rio or something like that. He had a reality show. He was kind of a loose cannon. He is joining the staff at Missouri State, where he will work with men's and women's programs as an assistant. I don't know if it's he needs to. I don't know what's happening to him or away from the pool. Front Office Sports is reporting that he is earning roughly $30,000 annually, and he has bonuses for $750 if men's or women's win the MVC title, $500 for each NCAA individual or relay qualifier. He's a star. It's got to be humbling to go back and take that job for whatever reason, if he has to or not. I just like the fact that he's staying in the game. He's got a little bit of some knowledge to pass along, and he's doing it. Assistant coaching at Missouri State. A lot of great athletes wouldn't do that no matter what the situation ended up. Ryan Lochte. And that's it for the Dean's List here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. The ACC is having their spring meetings kind of as we speak. Amelia Island, Florida, they get together, they talk big picture. What does the big picture look like for the ACC? I'll tell you. I'll paint the picture for you coming up.
Dauntless Transmissions has been the trusted transmission shop in Raleigh for more than 27 years. But why do they call it Dauntless Transmissions? Well, dauntless means showing fearlessness and determination. Now, the experts at Dauntless Transmission are dauntless when it comes to caring for your vehicle. Whether that means a total transmission rebuild, complex engine or brake service, or just a routine tune-up, your vehicle will be dauntless when they're done with it. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
The golf season is here. Time to upgrade your game. Head to Global Golf and explore Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs. Whether you're just getting started or been playing for years, our expert staff will fit you with the perfect clubs. Plus, trade it in and save big on your next set. Global Golf makes it easy to turn your previously played equipment into serious savings. Visit us at 7320 ACC Boulevard in North Raleigh. Open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone with zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Canes fans, this is your playoff headquarters, the Dugout Tavern and Grill on Kelly Road in Apex. Catch every Carolina Hurricanes playoff game the way it's meant to be seen. An official member of the Canes Bar Network, the Dugout has the sound on for every game, a massive 16-foot video wall, and bucket specials, plus $4 storm surge drinks to keep the energy high all night long. So grab the gang, wear your red, and cheer loud. The Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex, where Canes fans bring the storm.
18 points and 15 rebounds, a career high in the win against Georgetown. Wilson spinning on the baseline and elevating for the jam.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Please continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Look for it. Find the videos you like, pass them to your friends, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We work pretty hard on putting out some content there, and we want you to enjoy it. Also, follow us on all the other social medias and everything else. That's just me, just asking for a favor. Whatever your favorite social media is, search for 99.9 The Fan and follow along. We'd appreciate it. Now, going on as we speak, the big wigs in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The big wigs. We're talking men's, women's basketball coaches, athletic directors, top administrators, anybody who's anybody as far as, swinging a little bit of power in the conference, at least it seems that way, are in Amelia Island, Florida for their spring meetings. And this is where big picture stuff gets talked about, right? This is where rule changes. This is where for many, many years, conference realignment, conference expansion was always the big topic. It doesn't seem like that is the case anymore. Although that's famous last words in the conference realignment and conference expansion conversations, right? The moment you think it's not happening is probably when the SEC is buying more teams. But as it stands right now, what I believe is the challenge for the ACC is new, right? I talked about this a little bit earlier. Right now, there are 18 teams that have at least partial membership to the ACC. There's 17 full members, and Notre Dame, who is in a everything but football kind of situation. 16 of the ACC's 18 members have changed either their university president or chancellor, like their top boss, or their athletic director in the last 2 years. Duke and Florida State are the only two that have remained stable in those positions beyond 2 years. Now, instability is sometimes good for changes, right? Sometimes you have somebody who's been in the position or been controlling things for so long that they're set in their ways and they are resistant to change. So you get some fresh blood in there, so to speak, and then all of a sudden you're able to advance a little bit, right? I talk about when coaches change. Usually that's when NIL budgets boost. Right, because the new person comes in and says, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that, sometimes even during job negotiations, and they end up with a bigger NIL pool. So I don't think this is bad for the ACC in the long run. I think there is a bit of a period where everybody's going to slam on the brakes and say, the first thing I'm doing is not making some gigantic suggestion to shake the industry. First, let me figure out what the industry is for somebody in my position, and that seems to be what the ACC is dealing with. I have the quote here from the executive director of the College Sports Commission. Think about that. Brian Sealer, who basically talked to the ACC meetings, addressed the power brokers that are there, and then told WRAL.com, people are trying to figure out how they can operate in this system, whether there are going to be real rules enforcement that isn't thwarted by lawyers or thwarted by others. Now, the College Sports Commission works in NIL. They work in transfer portal. They work in tournament expansion. They work in all of these things that I'd say over the last 5 years have become very questionable on if their bark has any bite. Right? This player is ineligible. A lawyer says, I would like to say no, and then that player is eligible. This person cannot make money. They're not allowed to accept. And then lawyers said, I think they should, and then they are. So we're starting to learn now maybe where the limits of the NCAA's power are and are not. There's a big win this week for the NCAA and for the College Sports Commission. This NIL Go, which is where every player has to put in all of their endorsement deals, all of their NIL contracts that are greater than $600, it declined a bunch of money going to Nebraska football players. They had a payment with Playfly, which is a media entity that has been kind of commissioned by Nebraska to run their program, and actually Nebraska had an agreement with Playfly where they were giving a bunch of money to the Nebraska program, and Nebraska said, let's rework this to where you give the program less money, but you agree to pay more to players that'll be outside our revenue share. And they put in the endorsement, they put in the NIL to NIL Go. They said, no, that's not approved. The Nebraska players took them to court, and for the first time in a long time, I get to report this. The NCAA won. The court said, no, you cannot get that money. That is not an acceptable endorsement deal, and they're allowed to say that is not allowed.
Doesn't happen often the NCAA wins these things.
Doesn't happen darn near ever. So I think what we did is I'm not a huge video game guy, but the old school Grand Theft Autos are like the full world games.
Oh yeah, open world
where you reach the end.
Yeah,
and you're just like walking and you're not going anywhere. You're hitting like that glass wall. We may have just learned where the NCAA's glass wall is, or where maybe the players' glass wall is. Right? You can do anything you want. You can go here. You can go there. The old Grand Theft Autos. You can steal cars. You can rob banks. You can do anything, but you can't walk past that sign. Right? Like right there is your limit. That we may have just learned. Right? You can't have a company without a detailed. This is the endorsement. This is what the player has to do. This is how we're going to see value from it. You can't just give them money, or else the NIL Go, the College Sports Commission, might say that's not allowed, and it'll be upheld in court. For the first time in a long time, ACC coaches can get together and say, all right, this is what Nebraska tried to do. This is what's not allowed. How can we make sure we are funded and paying our players in a way that the cash, A, will get to their pockets, B, you're not breaking any rules, and C, we're not at risk of the courts getting too much in our business. And I guarantee you that is something that is being discussed a bunch at these spring meetings. Because you want to have the reputation in the recruiting world, especially basketball, all the men's basketball and women's basketball coaches there, as the people that make promises to players that come with a lot of zeros and that are followed through with no drama. You don't want to be the group that's like, I tried to pay you, but I couldn't figure out a way to make it work. And now you want to be the group that is known for like on time, good payments, because that's gonna travel around. Especially the super high level AAU basketball world, it's not as big as you think. It's not like the old days where, your high school basketball is what mattered, and your high school basketball coach may have like 2 recruits in his career that are going to play even high Division I basketball. This is now like AAU coaches are cranking them out and talking to each other and know how to move and know which teams pay and which teams are tough to deal with. That's what I think these spring meetings are about. You might not like it, but I'd say I'd rather them talk about how to pay players legally than have them talking about, how to not end up like the Pac-12. Or maybe how to make another conference into the Pac-12. I want the ACC to be strong, and I think how you pay players is going to be one of the major things you have to deal with over the next 10 years. Shout out, by the way, to Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports Investigative Reporter, who is covering the meetings, and you can track all that at WRAL.com.
Yeah, he and Pat Walter are both down there. I know they got one-on-one interviews with Kara Lawson, Duke women's basketball coach, as well as Courtney Bankhart, UNC women's basketball coach, and probably some others coming up as well. So definitely stay tuned at WRAL.com for sure.
Beautiful. And there's so much money being talked about. It's crazy.
It's
crazy.
To me, I think these ACC meetings, it's good for people to express their feelings, but no one actually really knows where it's going to go. So it's like, is the idea I pose, is it even going to matter? Like, it sounds good for the situation right now, but give it a week, the situation might be completely different. And I just wasted all this time.
I think and this is like every business, right? I think it's more important what's being said, at the happy hour after the meeting, when a few schools that trust each other, like, every athletic director has their allies, right? They have the ones they like, they have the ones they talk with, the ones they might be a little bit more honest with. That's where I think it's really coming down, really kind of impacting things. So it's kind of like an NFL Combine like or Final Four like, where it's like if you just get all the power brokers in one area, humans are a social beast, right? They're going to get together. They're going to talk. They're going to hypothesize. They're going to come up with ideas. They're going to say, this is crazy, but I was thinking this, and it might gain steam. That's what it really, really does. And one of them is going to be like, see what happened in Nebraska? What'd they have in the contract they didn't like? How do we, it's going to be that kind of stuff. Do you know? Yeah. One of our kids has the same agent. Blah, 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 blah. Like, that's what's going to be passed around. They're no different than high schoolers. Just gossip. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Up next, little football at 4 ahead of schedule release for the Panthers on Thursday. What do we know? Stick around.
It's bow time. We know there's a lot of breakfast sandwiches out there, but only Bojangles has the legendary Cajun Filet Biscuit. Shake things up with a boldly seasoned chicken breast on a fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit with bow rounds and your choice of drink. So when you're craving something bold, something different, something that takes breakfast to a whole new level, the Cajun Filet Biscuit is waiting for you, along with crispy bow rounds and a drink. Order in the app or at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Time to satisfy your craving for Cajun with a Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuits are served all day, every day. And with that biscuit, why not add Bo's Iced Coffee? That's right, Bo's Iced Coffee with sweet cream. Choose caramel or French vanilla. Bo's new Iced Coffee, a great way to sweeten your day. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bow Time.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my run in PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Temperatures feeling comfortable out there this afternoon, mid-70s with lots of sunshine. Hopefully you can get out and enjoy it. Temperatures drop to right around 50 overnight tonight under clear skies. Tomorrow is a little warmer. We'll see a high of 80 degrees, and tomorrow night, a chance of storms.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 71 points to 49,776.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You know, it's fun. It's funny. Earlier today, I brought up that the NBA Combine's going on. The NBA, all their prospects are running and jumping and being measured in. And one of the things Dennis responded with was, you know, it's funny, we don't get all juiced up for the NBA Combine like we do the NFL Combine. And I think there are reasons for that, as I brought up, right? Like, you know, there's only 2 rounds. You're not looking for the diamonds in the rough. Basketball is seen as more skill than just raw, like, athleticism. But also what I failed to mention is the NFL is a monster at turning any and everything into a media circus. And the NFL draft is that way. I mean, they had, 300,000 people there just to watch guys walk across the stage and shake hands?
Just to hear people come to a podium and go, here's a name and a team.
The NFL couldn't get the number 1 pick Fernando Mendoza to the draft, but they got 300,000 people to watch them read his name, and that's it. So it's the NFL's good at that, okay? And there might not be a better example of the NFL turning a seemingly nothing burger into a massive event than the fact that last week they put out media that kind of went viral saying that this week they would announce the schedule on Thursday. So on Thursday, they're going to announce what time everybody's game is, what day everybody's game is, who's home, who's away on which days, where they're playing, are they international games, and everything else. And not only is it 87% information we already know. They're just organizing it differently than the way it's been presented to us in the past. But they made people care about the schedule for when the schedule was going to be announced. And we're just like the pigs to slaughter. We're just following along like, oh, I'm going to find out when my team's playing on 4:30 and when they're playing at 1 o'clock. Oh, boy, I'm going to find out if they have to go to Germany for one game or if we're playing it all right here in the United States. Oh, boy. We already know every team that the Panthers are going to play and which ones are going to be home and away.
We've known that since January.
But I'm telling you what, you put them in an order. Whoo boy, you put them on a calendar. Whoo boy, am I in? The NFL finds a way to do it. Let's give them credit. They find a way to make us care about stuff that we shouldn't care about, but they do it. So give them credit. And it does give us the opportunity to talk about certain small aspects. For example, just like speaking of the NFL draft, where all the picks are leaked like 5 minutes before they're made. They announced the schedule is going to be announced on Thursday, and today, Travis Hancock from WFNZ says, per source, no international games on the Panthers' 2026 schedule. None. Which is hilarious, because one of the only bits of information that we would be told for the first time on Thursday is if the Panthers have an international game and where it would be if they do. So now we don't even have to wait for that till Thursday. And actually, I like it for the Panthers. I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I think many of you will disagree. I don't think I want the Panthers in a ton of primetime games. I don't think I want them in a ton of one-offs, right? The 9 a.m. Europe games. I don't think 9 a.m. Eastern time Europe games. I don't think I want them on Thursday nights and Monday nights and Sunday nights. I want the Panthers playing well in the shadows this year. I want them getting a typical Panthers schedule, which would be like Sunday at 1, Sunday at 1, Sunday at 1, Sunday at 4:25, Sunday at 1, Sunday at 1, Sunday at 1, Thursday, Sunday at 1, Sunday at 1. I think this is a young team. I think they will benefit from potential routine. I think they will benefit from not having huge emotional swings with every game. Right? If you play well on a Sunday night, everybody jumps on board. It's especially if it's in the first, 6-7 weeks of the season. If you go on Monday night and you play well and you win a big game, all of a sudden your Super Bowl odds are swinging and your coach is getting Coach of the Year buzz and everybody's all in. And I don't know if that's best for the Panthers. In the same way, the opposite would be true, right? You go on a early season Monday nighter and get spanked by 25. Everybody gets reeled down on you real quick, and I don't think that's the best for the Panthers. Because even with the momentum they had last year, I still think there's going to be a roller coaster this year. I still think there's going to be games that you feel like they should win and they lose. There's going to be games that you feel like they didn't play their best, but somehow Bryce Young has the ball with 80 seconds left and down 4 and gets to go try to drive for the win. I think there's going to be games where you go, whoa, what the heck was that? In both good and bad. So on Thursday, I might be the only Panther fan that's not upset if they don't get the primetime games, right? Because you're always like, the respect. Oh, why do we want to see the Jags 4 times? Right? That's always the way you react to those primetime games. I think the Panthers should just go win Sunday at 1 and start their recovery at the same 5:30 training room every single week. And I think they'll benefit from it. Now, speaking of information we already have, that's first part, right? Because that's, when are they prime time? Apparently no international, time of day on Sunday. Those are all things we're going to learn. Do they play, a ton of division games early in the year? Like that stuff is all we will actually learn on Thursday. The stuff we already know, I think we should get ahead of. Dennis brought it up, right? We've known the opponents pretty much since the season ended.
I can tell you most of their 2027 and 2028 opponents right now because we know.
Because the division, there's a rotation for some, and then only a few get moved based on where you finish in the division. And then you play the same level of other division. It's mostly like an algorithm. It's an equation. You just plug it in and hit enter. There's also it doesn't feel real until it's in an order. Okay, until you see the day, the time is when it feels real, and that's when everybody starts building their opinions. Okay, because the schedule can be tough, but it's way tougher if you have to play 2 good teams on a Sunday and then a Thursday with the short week. Like it doesn't change a ton, but that's when you get the 100% of the information. Of the information we already know, Adam Schefter put some of it out today, which is, again, the NFL, and he's an NFL insider, and I'm sure he's doing somebody a favor, just building up hype for Thursday. But he put out a list of all of their strength of schedules, each team's strength of schedule based on last year's winning percentage. Okay? So the total wins and losses of everybody on your schedule. Keep in mind, he could have done this math in January, he could have done this math in February, he could have done this math all the way through.
It was, but that's fine.
The Panthers have the 10th hardest schedule based on last year's win-loss. So when everybody gets the schedule on Thursday and they look at it and they go, oh, no, they're playing the other teams that won their division, because we've known that. But they look at it and they go, this schedule is so tough. It's not fair. Goodness gracious. I want to be clear. The schedule you look at on Thursday is the 10th hardest schedule based on win-loss percentage for the teams last season. Now, that doesn't mean it's the 10th hardest schedule, right? It could easily be 5. It could easily be 17. It can go up. It can go down. Teams go from worst to first in their division every single year. It's like an old NFL trope. It's like the 12 seed beating the 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. Somebody's going to go from worst to first in their division. It happens every year. So it's not a hard and fast, like this is the toughest schedule, this is the next toughest. But if you use last year's winning percentage and you assume most teams will, get better or worse about the same randomness every year, let's assume the Panthers have the 10th most difficult schedule this season. If anybody overreacts to that, I'm going to be throwing wet blankets on those arguments all over the place. 10th is not a big enough reason. That is not a good enough schedule to dramatically change how you think a team will or won't do. There's only 32 teams in the NFL. If you start screaming about how difficult the Panthers' schedule is, it is the equivalent of saying, oh no, we have to lower expectations so much because we are just inside the top 32% hardest schedule. Top 30, like if you had the hardest, okay. Top 5, we can talk. 10th out of a 32-team league? Where it's fractions of difference for the few above you and below you? Like I'm not going to entertain that. I refuse. And I don't care if they play 2 good teams on a short week. I don't care if they get a stretch of 5 road games in a row. I don't care. If they're playing their best teams, all they're coming off a bye. That doesn't change it enough for me. It's football. The better team has to impart their will regardless of situation, and they're facing a good schedule but not an unbeatable schedule, and they won their division last year. In a lot of ways, they got better over the offseason. I think the defense is going to be considerably better if everybody stays healthy. They should be able to handle a division-winning schedule if you win your division and you get better in a big way. So ahead of Thursday, when you look at it and it's in a row and you're looking at it nicely on your calendar, maybe you're somebody that still keeps a handwritten calendar and you're breaking out the old 2026-2027 calendar and you're filling it out by hand. Don't get so afraid that you quake in your boots for the Carolina Panthers. If they're good, they'll win the games. If they're not, they won't, and it won't be the schedule's fault. It'll be the team's fault.
ESPN's doing a 2-hour special.
Darn right they are.
A 2-hour special.
Cash those
Here's
checks.
a list of dates and times. That's all it is.
Do you know what's hilarious? They do 1 hour for the Selection Sunday. And that's legitimately like we're all waiting on pins and needles to find out who's in, who's out, who's playing, where you have to go. It's just, here's the information you already know in a slightly different sorted Excel spreadsheet. Here you go.
That's all it is. It's just a list of dates and times.
If you're looking for things to actually be surprised by, it's who gets the international games, who gets the primetime games, when your bye week is.
Which I hope for the Panthers is the weekend of November 8th. That's all I ask.
That's all.
That's all I ask.
Let's see how much power you have. Say that a bunch of times and just see if it happens.
I said it this morning, filling for Paul Einhander on Next Up. It's the only thing I ask. Or if they're going to play that week, play it on the Thursday. It's fine.
Monday might work.
Monday's fine. I'd much rather than play Thursday.
It's not position A, but it's not position Z.
Yeah.
Either way, it is fun. It is anticipatory. It is exciting. I would not cancel plans on Thursday if you have them to see what order the games are in. We'll talk about it the next day because that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But we already know most of it. You can go find it right now. The Drive with Tim
We'll probably know most of it like by tomorrow.
Yeah, I get it's their job. I hate when insiders break information before it's like, especially if it's an event to show it. I hate that the draft gets ruined. I hate all that kind of stuff. I hate when, Selection Sunday gets ruined by leaks. I hate when any of that happens. And I hate even more than that.
What's that?
The faux accounts that fake spoil stuff. Adam Scheffler on Twitter. Ian Rappaport with 1 P or 2 Ps, whichever one's the incorrect spelling. I hate all that. Scheffler with a $sign is the S instead of the S. And it's, so-and-so's opening the schedule on Thursday, and it's wrong. I hate that with a fiery passion. All right, now that I got that off my chest, let's move on. That is Football at 4 here on The Drive. We have a Cup check-in with the man of the hour. Mark Jankowski just signed a 2-year contract extension. You'll hear directly from him about that decision and the Canes in the postseason. But before any of it, here's Dennis Cox with some info for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here real quick. My friends over at Law Tigers. Something I want to make sure that everyone is aware of when you're out there driving on the road is that 1 out of every 8, 1 out of every 9, roughly, drivers that are out there on the road are either uninsured or underinsured. So as someone who rides a motorcycle like myself, if I'm involved in an accident and the person is at fault and they are underinsured or completely uninsured as a driver, well, then guess what? My insurance policy now has to kick in to cover any medical costs in case I got to go to the hospital, in case I got to go get checked out by doctors. Well, that now my policy has to kick in. So as a motorcycle rider, I have to make sure that my policy is up to date. So I encourage you as well to make sure your policies are up to date in case you do have to go to the hospital in case of an emergency of an accident. And if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Give them a call again, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Get in touch with them even before you get in touch with the insurance company. Your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with audio, as I promised, from Mark Jankowski. Stick around.
I don't care what you got, just give me that.
One goal.
Nikishin, Ehlers, shoots on the power play.
For Dean, wide open, rebound, and what a save by Anderson.
Hoist Lord Stanley's Cup.
Sebastian Aho in, short hit back in, scores! Oh, talk to me, Shorty! Carolina!
The Triangle's official home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. If you're planning a summer road trip, car trouble is the last thing you want to deal with. Small issues can turn into big disruptions once you're on the road. Before you go, Chapel Hill Tire will give you a full bumper-to-bumper inspection to make sure your vehicle is ready for the heat and the miles ahead, so you can spend less time worrying about your car and more time enjoying the trip. Book your appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
Hey, it's Amanda back again with my friend Coach Pete. Coach, I'm always looking up to people who are doing things, pushing the envelope, moving the needle. And I'm looking at you. You've been in business for over 30 years locally, and you're trusted. You have no bad reviews. People really depend on you for their financial advice. That's the people that you need in your circle. You need to get rid of all these other naysayers and friends. If you got friends in your circles that ain't doing nothing, you need to say, bye, Felicia.
Many times, Many times the negative Nancy, so to speak, are the ones that are trying to get you to do something they want to sell to you. Mm-hmm. And so once you get confidence in a plan, and it's in writing, and it's a total plan that's going to give you that security and safety and income all the way through your life, Amanda, you really don't need to listen to anybody anymore. You just cash your checks and have a good retirement. And that's
Amen
the magic of it. Not worrying anymore. We worry too much. Let's get the worries out of retirement. Call now. We'll put a plan together for you and your family.
919-794-7900. 919-794-7900. 900 or text Amanda to 600-700.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Robinson, heel turn, Jankowski scores! Mark Jankowski, the fourth line, is finally rewarded. And with that goal, Carolina takes a 2-1 lead in the blink of an eye.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That call right there by Maniscalco does make it even more brutal that Mark Jankowski's goal was taken away. Finally, the fourth line is rewarded. No, they're not. But there is some good news that the refs can't take away from Mark Jankowski. Yesterday, the team announced they had signed Janky to a 2-year contract extension, $1.85 million and average annual value, which Dennis pointed out to me earlier today is the most he'll have made in a single year in his NHL career. So it is a high water mark financially for Mark Jankowski over the next couple. It is also one of the few loose ends that the Carolina Hurricanes had to tie up, right? Their fourth line center spot, and it appears as if it's tied up. For more, why not hear directly from Mark Jankowski as part of our Carolina Ale House sponsored 99.9 The Fan Cup check-in. Carolina Ale House is the official watch party for the Carolina Hurricanes playoff games. If weather allows, during road games, they have indoor/outdoor parties at their Cary location, which includes appearances from Stormy, the Canes crew, and games shown on a movie screen size outdoor TV. That's for the away games, but for home games and away games, you can go to any Carolina Ale House and catch all of the games, right? They have a great spot to watch the game, food, drink specials, all the run of it. So check out Carolina Ale House, and thank you to Carolina Ale House for sponsoring our 99.9 The Fan Cup check-in. And without further ado, as promised, here's our very own Adam Gold checking in with Mark Jankowski.
Probably wasn't a hard decision on your part. How'd that go?
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Yeah, it was a really easy decision. Ever since I've been here, it felt like home, felt like a nice, easy fit. So, throughout the year, my agents and the team were talking for a little bit, and then got down to it, right down to the end, and then was able to agree on something and signed just not too long ago. So super excited to be here for another couple of years, and like you said, very, very easy decision.
So I want to go back to when you arrived, because, I've talked to Taylor Hall about this. We've talked to other people who show up in whether it's at the trade deadline or in the off season, about the initial reaction to being here and how everybody is so welcoming. You've been with other organizations. You were never traded in the middle of a year, but you have changed teams. I'm curious, what was it that seemed like such a good natural fit for you?
It was just everything. Like you said, first time being traded mid-season coming in, so I didn't really know what to expect. It was the first time I'd gone through something like that. Definitely a little bit of nerves going through me, but as soon as I got here, everyone was, or even before I got here, I was getting texts from players and calls from management and everything, just welcoming me. And then as soon as I got here, same thing. Everyone, made a point to come grab me and say, hey, we're so happy to have you. And if you need any recommendations on anything, let us know. And it just, you could tell right away as soon as I got here how closely knit this whole group is. And it really made that transition so much easier. And definitely, I think that sets you up for success when you have that comfortability right away. So I think just it starts from the top down, management and the ownership, management, coaching staff, like everyone was just so amazing to me right away. And then the players, the group is such a great group. And, a lot of guys have been together for a long time and, bringing in some new guys and, hopefully we can keep this group together for a while as well. So it's an easy decision to want to be here another couple of years. And they just made that transition for me so easy.
Oh, sounds happy. Sounds like a guy that just secured himself $1.85 million per year over the next couple. I said it yesterday. The more you can do, that's a great lesson. He is a great lesson for NHL players out there. The more you can do, be comfortable in every situation on the ice, and coaches will be comfortable cutting you a check. Especially if you are, fourth liner, third pairing defenseman, seventh defenseman, somebody that's trying to stick around and be able to put down some roots, the more you can do. That is our Cup check-in. Adam Gold checking in with Mark Jankowski, all sponsored by Carolina Ale House. Again, Cary location for the official watch party of the road games with the big screen, Stormy, and the whole razzle-dazzle. But every Carolina Ale House across the triangle is a great spot to catch a game. And we are happy that they are sponsoring the Cup check-ins. We'll have more of those throughout the long break until the Eastern Conference Finals. In the meantime, we get to play one of our favorite games of the week. We do it every Tuesday. It's called the Copper Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
All right, Tim. Let's actually go real quick. Carolina Hurricanes here. Cop or drop? The Carolina Hurricanes will be playing Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final by Monday next week. Cop or drop?
All right, I'm bad with you're better at the schedules and calendars than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Monday of next week. Let me look here. Buffalo, Montreal are playing Game 4 tonight.
Yes, Game 4 is tonight.
Their Game 5 would be Thursday.
So
it's going at least that long.
Yep.
Would it be Saturday or Sunday for Game 6?
Saturday's Game 6.
I think it goes at least 6, and I don't think they go Saturday and then have them play Monday, right?
I guess it all depends on how long the West takes, too.
That's true.
Because they want to go in the conference final. They want to go East one day, West the next. That way there's no hockey missed on a given night.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm dropping it.
Okay.
Again, I'm not as good with this whole prediction game. I've been wrong a bunch of times. It just screams the hockey gods are going to make the Canes sit forever. It just seems that way. So I'll anticipate like a ridiculously long break. That way, if it's only 10 days, I'll be like, hey, pleasantly surprised. I think it's going to take longer than that.
All right, let's go another Canes one here. Cop or drop? Logan Stankoven will finish the postseason with 10 or more goals this postseason. Cop or drop?
10 or more. He is sitting at, we're talking 7?
7.
Damn. 3 more? Cop. They got at least 8 more games, right? I mean, they got at least 8 more games. Fingers crossed. I don't think his spark, his scoring flame will dim to a, like, not only a lower flame, but, like, completely put out by the Eastern Conference Finals. I think he's in a groove. And also, like, the more you score, the more comfortable you get letting it fly, right? He's going to continue shooting, which is a big part of it. That line has created chances no matter who they're playing against. And for as much as people want to kind of poo-poo the Canes' path to the Eastern Conference Finals, Ottawa and Philly are both good defensive teams. Some of their advanced metrics per 60 and everything, they were both really good defensive teams. And Logan Stankoven scored a bunch. So, whoever's up next, whether it's Buffalo or Montreal, I think he can continue that.
All right, let's switch focus to the gridiron here. We just talked about the Carolina Panthers. We're going to see their full schedule this coming Thursday. We already know the opponents. The only thing we got to learn is dates and times. Cop or drop? The Carolina Panthers have 2 or more primetime games this year. Cop or drop?
And primetime Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night.
Correct.
And perhaps like a like a Saturday night the last 3 weeks. Like it's just got to be a nighttime.
Like
game.
when they played Tampa at the end of the season. 2 or more primetime games for the Panthers.
I'm copying that. Again, just because I think it would behoove them to have a lot of kind of under the radar games. I do think the Panthers are close to being a team that, like, if your team isn't playing, you'd like to watch them. Just because of a little bit of Matt Stafford effect, ironically, against Matt Stafford. For those of you that don't remember Matt Stafford effect, it's one of my theories. I'll give you the quick rundown, the Cliff Notes. Matt Stafford, when he was on the Lions, I always said that we judged his entire season by how he played on Thanksgiving because the Lions were never in primetime. They were always Sunday at 1, but they played that Thanksgiving game every single year, and we all watched. So we would see like clips and bits and pieces of him most of the year, but then we'd watch that whole game. If he threw for 400 yards on Thanksgiving, for the rest of the year, we're like, Matt Stafford's a top 5 quarterback in the league. He's just buried on the Lions. If he threw 3 picks on Thanksgiving, we're like, it's a shame what the Lions have done to Matt Stafford. He's not good anymore. And it's all off of that one game. So I don't think people watched the Panthers, meaning outside of Carolina, much last year. But they watched that postseason game against, ironically, Matt Stafford. And they played well, and Jalen Coker was a star, and Bryce Young was dealing. So I do think that they're, like, low-key a team that will draw in primetime, particularly early in the season before we know if they're legit or not. So, yeah, I think they get at least 2 easily. Maybe 3, maybe 4.
I see 2. I think they get a Thursday night game, and I think they probably get a Sunday night game.
I think that is where the bidding starts.
Yeah. When you win the division, you make the playoffs, you're generally going to get stuck in primetime a little bit more often. Especially with some of the teams they're playing. Like, they're playing Pittsburgh. They're playing against Green Bay this season. So they're playing some of those teams again, which, you know,
that's the other
sometimes
thing.
lend to it.
By being a division winner, you're playing the other division winners, which sometimes you can be the +1 to primetime.
Yeah.
You can be
They play the Seahawks at home again this year?
Yeah, we want to have the Panthers or the Packers in primetime 5 times. The schedule works out that, you know, Panthers week it works. You can be the one without the invitation and just be the +1.
All right, next one here. Cop or drop? Speaking of the Carolina Panthers. Cop or drop, they finished above 500.
Above 500?
Yep, so we're talking at least 9 wins, 9-8. At least 9-8. Cop or drop. We already know who their opponents are.
Yeah.
They've already drafted.
I'm leaning no. I'm leaning drop.
Dropping, okay.
Obviously, I will make my official predictions right on the doorstep of the season. I'm leaning no. I'm not sure they did enough to help the offense.
Okay.
8-9, I would consider a successful season again. Success is, especially in building a roster in the NFL, it is very rarely linear. It is very rarely a graph that goes from the bottom left corner to the top right corner in a straight line, which is what they've done the last 2 years, right? The 2 wins 3 years ago, 5 wins, 8 wins. It's just been straight up. Traditionally, a build in the NFL is 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, step back. Like there's trials and tribulations. So I think they could do everything right and still just kind of waver a bit. I don't think it's the end of the world, but above 500 is tough in the NFL.
All right, let's switch over real quick. A quick NBA, a quick basketball question. Cop or drop? Cameron Boozer from Duke will be drafted ahead of Caleb Wilson of North Carolina. Cop or drop?
I'm copping. I get why it's becoming a thing because Caleb Wilson's ceiling is so tantalizing. But I fear we are in the portion of the draft where, like, what more could be said? So we're just kind of like people are changing their opinions just because they feel like the old opinions are stale. We see it every single year. Boozer's been ahead of Caleb Wilson in most projections the entire year. I'm seeing some change now, which I get because, again, I might even take Caleb Wilson before Boozer. But I don't think the consensus will change before the draft. So odds are Boozer goes first.
Okay, cop or drop. This one comes from Rodney Lewis here on our
what's up, Rod?
YouTube live chat. He wants to know, cop or drop, Logan Stankoven will be the, quote, face of the franchise in 3 to 5 years. Cop or drop?
Ooh, I'm dropping. There's going to be some there's going to be some competition for face of the franchise in 3 to 5 years. And no, by the way, it's not like Aho and Jarvis and those guys are going anywhere within 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to unseat a current face of the franchise and also unseat them more than Jackson Blake or Alexander Nikishin perhaps, or, Keandre Miller. Like, there's other guys that could also step into that role. Or maybe they make a big swing. I think that's one where it's like the field is smarter than is the smarter bet than any one player. There's a lot of guys that could. But hey, if Logan Stankoven wants to do it, go ahead. Matter of fact, let's drop Copper Drop there and talk about the Carolina Hurricanes and that exact thing that I just said. 3 to 5 years from now, most of the Canes roster is kind of understood. There's some guys that are aging out, right? If you think like the Jordan Stalls and Taylor Hall, like those guys age out, that's fine. But I really think we need to address where the Carolina Hurricanes are. You don't normally get this time during a playoff, but with the break we do, where the Carolina Hurricanes are as a roster. Right, the news of yesterday was Mark Jankowski signing the 2-year extension, $1.85 million average annual value. That was one of the few questions for the Canes for next season. Was who's going to be your fourth line center? Now that's answered. So now you look at their cap space with the cap going up, and we know what it's going to be. It's Alexander Nikishin has to be signed. Outside of that, it's what do you want to do, not what do you have to do. And that's so unbelievably rare for a team that is the number 1 seed in the East, that is already in the Eastern Conference Finals, that swept their way to the Eastern Conference Finals, to not have super tough questions facing them this offseason. Normally when you are that team, right? The team that wins the regular season most points, the team that sweeps to the conference finals. I know that, like, it's very specific, but I'm just saying normally when you're that good, there are big questions waiting for you. Are you going to pay this guy? Are you going to how are you going to replace this, player who's obviously retiring? Are you going to match this player that goes to free agency? What are you going to do with the rental that you brought in mid-season and contract expires? How are you going to make room for this XYZ great player to position you have a full depth chart? The Canes really don't have tough decisions. How much do you want to pay Alexander Nikishin? And can you reach an agreement for however many years? But I don't think that's tough. I think that's like it's finicky on finding the appropriate middle ground, but you have the money to do it. You have the money to do it. You have one more year in this grace period before a couple contracts start coming up where it's set up nicely. So now Eric Tulsky, who, by the way, can we back up and talk about Eric Tulsky for a second?
Who, by the way, was not nominated for...
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Jim Gregory Award, the Jim Gregory Award, goes to the top GM, as voted by peer GMs, league executives, and selected media. The voting is done following round 1 of the playoffs. Bill Guerin of Minnesota, Chris McFarland of Colorado, and Pat Verbeek of Anaheim are the 3 finalists. No Eric Tulsky. Eric Tulsky this past year has done an exceptional job as a general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. And I almost want to make sure for general manager awards, league executive of the year awards, that the decisions they made were ones that weren't universally agreed upon. Okay? Because sometimes you get GM awards and it's like, they drafted well and they had the number 1 overall pick and a generational player number 1. And it's like, really tough one there. Let's run through the Eric Tulsky greatest hits of the year, like the best hits of this past calendar year for Eric Tulsky. And also what led to conversations like we just had about the roster being so set up that they're the best team in the East in the regular season. They make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they have their roster set up to do more if they want to. Obviously, Nikolai Ehlers is a huge feather in the cap. But I would argue, hey, you pay for the top free agent on the market. You're getting good return. That might be the least impressive thing he's done. It's hugely important, least impressive. I think the Keandre Miller trade is a work of art. I think the pick that they acquired in the Mikko Rantanen deal would have taken a while to impact the big league club. So he found a way to accelerate that impact to this year and got value out of Scott Morrow, who the Canes made at times look like a really promising defensive prospect. I'm not sure he spends a ton of time at the NHL based on how it's gone for him with the Rangers and in their farm system. Waiver claiming Brandon Bussey. Waiver claiming a guy that broke a ton of records for wins to open his career. He claimed him off the scrap heap. That's what being a great league executive is. A lot of people can manage the guys that are going to ask for double-digit millions dollars a year, right? Oh, look at this. He averages 1.5 points per game in the OHL. Let's bring him in and give him opportunity to develop. A lot of guys can do that. Oh, he was the best player in college hockey last year. Cool. A lot of guys can do that. It takes the special to manage the end of the roster. Brandon Bussey, goodness. And do you know what might be the most impressive thing that the GM did this year for the Carolina Hurricanes? Didn't panic and replace Logan Stankoven at second-line center. Sometimes the best moves you make are the ones you don't make. And everyone, myself included, I don't want to act like I'm some wiser than anybody else. At the trade deadline, was screaming, "Go get a second-line center!" Right? Oh, we want this guy. We want that guy. Pay whatever it takes to get this center, that center. And part of it was because during the transition to a new position, Logan Stankoven had some growing pains. GM, coach, whoever's in that decision-making circle said, nah, give it time. Give it time. It's working. Give it time. It's working. And they're seeing the fruits of that labor right now with the way the Stankoven line is playing. I don't want to take anything away from Taylor Hall and Jackson Blake because they're great, but you put a different player with them, who knows how it impacts them. And without that line playing great, you're not in the Eastern Conference Finals. How many games did they win when that line scored all of their goals? I think it's 3 this postseason alone. And they only won 8. Like, it's not, 3 of 8 is a ton. The things that Eric Tolsky did to have the Canes in this position this year, and they didn't have to mortgage their future at all. I mean, should he at least be a finalist? Should he win the whole darn thing? You decide. But I think it's pretty obvious him not being on that list makes me question the list. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have some audio that I want to get to from some of the players in the Canes. We'll do that in the next hour. But before we do that, Tim Donnelly here for Manor Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. Owner Brett, he should be in the mix for Executive of the Year because he puts together a roster of technicians that are super highly trained. They continue to train, which I really appreciate, right? It's not like you pass, you get your certification, and Manor Service Company sends you out there for the next 10 years. Every year, they're making sure they're up to date on the latest advancements, the latest machinery, the latest everything when it comes to fixing potentially your heating system, cooling system, plumbing, electrical work, whatever it is, they are as up to date as you can possibly be, sometimes even beyond what you think is necessary because they value it that much. So if you have a situation where you need some work done on your heating system, cooling system, plumbing, or electric work, give them a call. The number, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or you can visit them online at ManorServices.com. Once again, that site, Manor Services, MAYNOR norservices.com. Coming up next, we hear from many of you online. It's time for a feedback frenzy. Stick around.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons with Adam Gold in the Drive for our Cup Check-In, served up by Carolina Ale House. We talk with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup Check-In on 99.9 The Fan, served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House for the official Carolina Hurricanes viewing parties throughout the playoffs. Visit CarolinaAleHouse.com/Canes to see the schedule.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on oil?
We've got many markdowns on oil.
How about on that new STP Any Mileage?
You'll save $5 when you buy 5 quarts of STP Any Mileage with an oil filter and get up to 5,000 miles of protection.
Heck of a markdown for quite a lot of miles.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 17th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade Event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 17th. We'll see you there.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So I encourage everybody often to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to find their favorite videos, to jump in the comment section, to mix it up. Let us know what you agree or disagree with. Let us know what you think we're missing or what we hit on the nose. Like, let us know. And one of the ways I try to encourage that to happen, I try to encourage you to do that, is by having something we call a feedback frenzy. This is where we bring those comments to life. We bring them to the air. Dennis finds the best ones, or the ones he thinks are most interesting, and we address them. We respond to them live on air. Dennis, what do you got for us?
So earlier when we were doing the Dean's List at 3:30, something that we do every day, 3:30 on the Dean's List, you put on the Dean's List UConn basketball and Michigan basketball for two teams that play in the national championship, playing each other early on next season, November 6th.
Correct.
This one comes from Tim Dubé, 2225, says, look up UConn's schedule. They are setting the tone, talking about setting the tone for the season. So I went ahead and actually looked up UConn's basketball. Just look at some of their non-conference games for UConn men's basketball this season. They're playing Michigan. They're playing Duke. They're playing Illinois. They're playing Virginia. They have Arizona, Kansas, Ohio State. It's a heck of a non-conference schedule.
Oh, do not get me wrong. I'm not saying their schedule's not tough.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying there are some other schools that I think have been on that train a little bit longer. And heck, it's a good thing that more are getting there, more are getting on. But it's like, I don't know. I'm not good at this. I was going to go with a music, like history deal where it's like if somebody does something innovative and then someone more famous does that innovative thing and everyone's like, oh, they started it. It's like, ooh, somebody else may have done it first. I think there were some others that were more aggressive when they're scheduling for longer than UConn. But trust me, give UConn all the credit in the world. They're not shying away. They're not ducking smoke. And if you want me to say another thing nice about UConn, Alex Caravan is reportedly shooting the absolute lights out at the NBA Combine, and that's going to make him a lot of money. And he's a two-time national champ at UConn.
All right, let's go to a conversation that we actually had earlier today about the Carolina Hurricanes. Has their perception changed, or will their perception actually change, even though they do play different than years past? This one comes from Keith Parker. Keith says this: while the Carolina Hurricanes are a better team this season than in previous seasons, there is a concern: their possible conference finals opponent. During the regular season, Carolina was 2-1 against Buffalo, but 0-3 against Montreal. That is a concern. You may say that those games were the regular season and that's now meaningless. However, that may mean a team in Montreal knows how to game plan in a way to defeat Carolina. I want our Canes to win a cup this year. Montreal, if they get past Buffalo, may be a serious impediment to that. The Canes will have to have their A game times 10 in the next round.
Well, yes. I mean, you should need your A game to win the Eastern Conference Finals. A game plus 10, however you want to word it. You should have to play near your absolute best to win in the conference finals. I would have to go look in. Well, actually, how about this? Let's reverse it a bit. I just brought up the Canes Montreal 3 games this year. And I'm going to do something that I normally make fun of others for doing, which would be I'm going to box score watch a little bit here. You have to decide whether those games are predictive or they're not, okay? Because, sure, Montreal won three games. But also, Sebastian Aho, Nikolai Ehlers, and Andrei Svechnikov kind of cooked them in those games. So what part do we want to say is predictive, right? Aho had 2 goals and 3 assists against Montreal in one game. Nikolai Ehlers in that same game, a goal and 2 assists. Andrei Svechnikov, a goal and 2 assists. Again, they lost the game. If it's predictive, just win-loss, okay. But if you say Logan Stankoven, Jackson Blake, and Taylor Hall are playing great right now, and predictively, Aho, Ehlers, Svech played really well against Montreal, right? It's like you can hat pick. You can not hat pick. That's a weird word.
That is a little bit of a weird word.
You can just grab the ones that you're interested in using. You can just grab the stats and go, this is going to keep going. Aho had an assist in the other game. Svech had another goal. Looking at the third game, Ehlers scored, Stahl scored, Svech an assist. Like, they lost the games, but if that gets those guys going, I think that's probably like if those guys match up well against Montreal, I think Freddie's playing better than he was playing back in those games. I think Stanko, like there's differences. So I'm not afraid of either. I'm also not running from the fact that Montreal beat them 3 times this year. It happens. It's part of your story. You won a bunch of games in the regular season, too, against good teams, bad teams, middle teams, every kind of team.
And all your games against Philadelphia this season went to overtime or shootout. So,
and 2 of the games came March 24th or later. The Canes were in a different spot by then, according to most teams.
Yeah, for sure. And also, as well, you mentioned that 7-5 loss back on New Year's Day. Who wasn't playing in that game for Carolina is a question as well. I don't think we had Jacob Slavin playing in that game. He may have been playing, but he was coming off injury and stuff. Again, I put really zero stock into those regular season results because teams are different now than they were in January.
I agree.
They just are.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Is Frederik Andersen playing the way he was now?
I don't know if he's ever played the way he is now.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. You want to keep that rolling. Listen, if you asked me who's the worst team, I think I would say Buffalo. Like if you made me answer, so ipso facto, Montreal would be the better team. I think the way the Canes are playing right now, if you went back and played those regular season games, the results would be different. So that's the way I'm going to answer that question.
I agree. All right, along that same conversation, this one comes from Timothy Ray Cobb. Timothy Ray Cobb says this: as a Caniac, I'm frustrated as hell with the national media and especially the Canadian media. Double standards about the Canes. They're always overlooking them, claiming the Canes are overrated, have a weak schedule, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yet, if it was a Canadian team, there will be platitudes out the... My dream... This is like I can censor things. My dream is that the Canes sweep Buffalo or Montreal and then sweep the Cup Finals.
Well, yeah.
They would be the only team to win a Stanley Cup undefeated, and yet the expert analysts and media would still find a way to diminish that accomplishment. Not going to happen, but would be delicious if it did. Go Canes.
Yeah, 16-0 sounds good. 16-0 might be to the point where, like, you would assume they would go away from, like, the Canes are not good or the Canes had an easy schedule and would go to, like, do we have to look into rigged? Like, is something shady happening here? 16-0 would be aggressive. I hope it happens. I hope they have to do those investigations. Listen, I'm USA all the way, baby. Don't get me wrong. I undervalued how much Canes fans just dislike all Canadian teams. I put a poll out on my Twitter. You can still go vote. It's open for, I think, till tomorrow. On who would you rather face, Montreal or Buffalo in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I requested once you vote to leave your reasoning in the replies. There's more than a couple. Buffalo because Canada. Some are saying, like, I don't care who we play. I think the Canes will beat both, but I'm voting based on who, if the Canes implode, I would rather see win the Cup. So Buffalo, because not any Canadian team. Like, there's a lot of anti-Canadian hockey opinions out there, so you're not alone, commenter.
Yeah, keep the cup down here. Along those same conversations, let's actually shift focus over to the Carolina Panthers. We had a conversation yesterday about rookie minicamp. You also mentioned about Haynes King, the quarterback. Can he carve himself out a role possibly with this team? Backup QB possibly. We'll see. This one comes from Double O Kane. Double O Kane says, Haynes King is not making the roster. He's a practice squad guy at best. I predict UFL.
Practice squad is what I was talking about. I was talking about him just making it to the facility and having a job with the Panthers. He's not active roster. The active roster, traditionally you only have two guys, unless you have a Taysom Hill, which would be like filling other roles and also being a third stringer. So Kenny Pickett is well paid as a backup. So he'll be the backup. Bryce Young will be the starter. Haynes King got $250,000 guaranteed as an undrafted free agent. $250,000. That's more than a lot of sixth-round pick gets guaranteed. So I would be very surprised if he doesn't at least make the practice squad. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't at least make the practice squad.
What's your practice squad salary if you make that every single week during the year? Like on what the average practice squad salary is, or at least the minimum, it's about $250,000 over the course of the season.
So he's already guaranteed.
So yeah, exactly.
I would be very surprised if he's not, unless they try to put him on the practice squad and he gets claimed elsewhere, which I also don't see happening. But I'd be very surprised if he's not employed by the Carolina Panthers this year. And that means he has a year to show that he's worthy of a slightly bigger role, right? All you can ask for is a foot in the door as an undrafted free agent. They might only give you a pinky toe in the door, but heck, be appreciative of that pinky toe in the door and try to wedge your way in there. Wasn't expecting, like, pushback on Haynes King as a potential future third round or third string backup quarterback gadget guy. Like that's usually the backup quarterbacks just get more beloved the further down you go the depth chart.
I know. There are a lot of Panthers fans that are steamed up about Haynes King. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of steamed up about Haynes King. I loved watching him play.
Steamed
in
up positively. I thought
yeah,
you were saying
steamed
angry.
up like in a good way.
Yeah.
I loved watching him play.
Hot and bothered. He's a football player.
He's a dude.
Yeah. I think he'll, like, your team will never be worse for having him in your locker room. Hopefully you don't have to play him at quarterback, at least not anytime soon. But in the room, that's fine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is a feedback frenzy. Thank you to all of you that joined the conversation in the comments of our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. Join the conversation. You might hear yourself, your comments live on air. And subscribe while you're there, please. Before we get to the starting five, you can hear from Dennis Cox right now.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here real quick. 4, Loan Pronto. Credit card interest rates, They're now over 29%, and most people, they're only making minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved, and they saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com and see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, has the starting five coming up next.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WREL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Life's great stories are built on yes and. Yes to the big game and the private suite. Yes to the beach and sailing offshore. Yes to traveling the country and exploring new ones. With the new Millionaire for Life from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can say yes to $1 million now and every year for a lifetime. Millionaire for Life. Winning is just the beginning. Drawing 7 days a week. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.47. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Canes fans, this is your playoff headquarters, the Dugout Tavern and Grill on Kelly Road in Apex. Catch every Carolina Hurricanes playoff game the way it's meant to be seen. An official member of the Canes Bar Network, the Dugout has the sound on for every game, a massive 16-foot video wall, and bucket specials, plus $4 Storm Surge drinks to keep the energy high all night long. So grab the gang, wear your red, and cheer loud. The Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex, where Canes fans bring the storm.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier Factory Authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. You'll want to grab an extra layer again this evening and tonight. Lows dip back into the upper 40s. Wednesday, 80 degrees for the high with lots of sunshine. We have a small chance for rain Wednesday night, but it really doesn't look like it's going to add up to much.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 56 points today to 49,760.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five, and as always, we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's do that hockey.
The Canes are on hiatus in the NHL postseason, but the playoffs do continue to move along elsewhere. Last night, Colorado took a 3-1 lead over Minnesota.
That was a good game, too.
The final score, not as close as it would. I didn't watch the end of it, So 5-2 kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, 5-2. Yeah, that score doesn't indicate. Get a couple empty netters. It was 1-1 going into the third. Then both teams scored. It's 2-2. Colorado scores late. Then they tack on 2 empty netters, 5-2. But it was a close game throughout.
Do you want to discuss Nathan McKinnon, who is likely one of, if not the betting favorite to win a whole bunch of awards this postseason? Took a puck to the face.
Got drilled in the face with a puck by his own teammate on accident. So as Devon Taves was in front of his own net, just trying to clear the puck out of danger, just throwing the puck into the corner. And that's where Nathan McKinnon just happened to be, and just bam, right in the face.
It's not. He wasn't even in a position where like you're on high alert to like protect yourself. He's just kind of watching, and boom.
Tim, you and I are about like 10, 15 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
That's about how close they were. Just a puck fired you right in the face. No time to react. Right at the end of the second period.
Hockey players, though, came back in, kept playing.
Got an empty netter there in the third.
Decent amount of blood on that one, too.
Yeah, like the blood was up on his visor. Yeah. Oof. Bad. This is why I wear a full cage when I play hockey.
This is why I don't play hockey.
There's that. Respect that.
Tonight, I should say, the next day. Buffalo at Montreal tonight at 7. Obviously, huge implications for the Canes, not just on who they play, but when they play them. Montreal leads the series 2-1. 3-1, you start, obviously, maybe this will be over a little bit quicker than you thought. If it goes 2-2, just book 7. If it goes 2-2, Buffalo can tie it up. It just seems like it'll go the distance. Anaheim and Vegas, they're already tied up 2-2. And they have Game 5, a pivotal Game 5. Tonight at 9:30, and that's what's the Canes. I don't know. The Canes sit around and watch. I guess they can hang out, get together, watch the games, because they've already done their work in the second round. Must be nice. Kick their feet up, enjoy, rest, get healthy. What do you think they do? Do you think they all get together, or do you think there's like a watch party at Stahl's house or something like that, or do you think it's like, I've seen enough of you guys over the last 3 months. I'm gonna hang out with the fam.
I think there might be like a little mixture of that. They might be like, all right, guys, like we're gonna have like a team gathering and stuff. Maybe one night this upcoming week, like the families and stuff all get together. But I think after the road trip, because you're a couple days in Philadelphia, 3 days in Philadelphia, everyone come back and go be with your family.
They did get 2 days off.
They did.
Back on the ice earlier today, which may come back up later in the starting 5. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
The NFL will be releasing team schedules on Thursday. Can I have a word of advice to the Carolina Panthers? If you're going to put out a trendy, viral schedule release social media video, better be funny. Better be cool. Better be nostalgic. Some teams are really, really swinging and missing. Did you see the Chiefs? I don't like. Maybe
they already put one out for this year.
That just who their opponents are.
Oh, okay.
As breads.
As what? Breads.
Breads. Which I thought they were going to be like, the Broncos are, a marble rye. But it's like bread that looks like they used Photoshop or AI or something to like put Pitbull's face on it, and it's like the Dolphins. I don't pretend to be in like the online world like that. Memes oftentimes go over my head.
Yeah.
Online trends. So maybe there's something they're playing off of. It was a real like, you ever been at a wedding and someone's giving the best man or maid of honor speech and they go for like a big joke and it just doesn't hit, even in the warmest room possible where everyone wants to laugh, and it's just, you're just sitting there like, ooh. I felt like that looking at the Chiefs talking about their opponents. And it was just like, I don't even know if anyone else is not laughing at this, but I know I'm not, and it hurts me secondhand embarrassment.
When did they put this out?
I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday? Like, we've already known who your opponents are. We've known that since January.
22 hours ago.
Oh, God.
Presenting our 2026 opponents as sourdough. A bread thread, if you will. Starting saucy with KC BBQ. And it's just bad Photoshop of bread with like a rack of ribs on it.
That sounds stupid.
It's rough.
That's dumb.
So my point is, if the Panthers are doing something, put some thought into it, make it funny. I don't know, like focus group it, show it to your friends, see if they laugh. If we had a Hall of Fame for him, the Tennessee one, like 5 years ago.
Yeah, not even. It was like 3 years ago.
Where they were on
Broadway.
and they just showed the logos and made people guess, like non-sports fans. And they were looking at it going like, oh, that's the Cowboys. And it was like the Colts logo.
Yeah.
And, who's that? That's the Boston Falcons. And it's the Eagles logo or whatever it is. Like, those are funny.
But don't try and recreate that.
No, you got to do something innovative, funny. The Chiefs missed. That's all I'm going to say. Dynasty over? Maybe. The other thing is we'll find out the order of things. We'll find out that's what the schedule is. We know the opponents. We know who they're playing. For the most part, we know where they're going to be played. Travis Hancock of WFNZ up there in Charlotte says he has sources that say there are no international games for the Panthers. So I guess they're not Germany's team anymore. I'm fine with that. I guess you can be a little worried of catching like 5 of your best teams in weeks, 6 through 10 or 11, and then the bye week after that. So you catch them when you're tired and in a row. But I don't think the schedule matters as much as some say it does. Wasn't there bye like week 14 or something last year? Something crazy?
Yeah, it was super late.
That's not ideal, but looking back, I don't think it was part of the story of the season. I don't think it hurt them or helped them a ton. Schedule will come out Thursday. There you go. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Duke closing in on their 20th win of the season. Foster, here's Boozer. Got it! That felt like the dagger.
Duke may be having a bit of deja vu right now. I don't know if calendar year it was exactly today a year ago, but it was on the NBA schedule exactly 1 year ago that it became real that Cedric Coward may never wear a Duke basketball jersey. He was a premium transfer that had committed to Duke, and everybody was very excited. He had size, he had a wingspan, he could shoot the lights out. He was a very intriguing prospect that had committed to Duke, and he kept his name in the NBA draft. Mostly it was thought just to go through the process so he'd be better for it in the future, so he could get feedback on what he needed to improve, and then he would go play for Duke. But at the Combine, he shot the lights out. He shot the heck out of the ball. And when you have the size that he had and you shoot the way he did, all of a sudden NBA teams were like, you should not go to Duke. You might be a lottery pick. Sure enough, he never ended up going to Duke. Fast forward to this year. They get a commitment from John Blackwell from Wisconsin. One of the best wings, combo guards in the transfer portal. They commit to Duke. He's at the Combine. He talked to Andy Katz of NCAA.com, and suddenly it might not be as much of a lock that he will be playing for Duke this year if things go well at the NBA Combine. Let's hear from John Blackwell talking to Andy Katz about the possibility of going to the NBA over Duke.
It's up there right now. I'm just trusting God through the process. I would love to play for a prestigious college like Duke, but chasing my dreams right now and just, weighing what's best for me. Coach Shire's been helpful through the process, and the whole coaching staff at Duke has been helpful through the process. And in my opinion, it's a win-win situation with both, because I get to play at the best college in the country, or get to live out my dreams and play in the NBA.
I should turn my mic on before I talk. Do you know what this weirdly makes Duke fans do?
What's up?
Root against their guy looking like a good basketball player at the NBA Combine.
That's true.
which they may have gotten some good news today if bad news is good news. So Blackwell measured into the combine without shoes on, 6 feet 3 inches, 3 1/4 inches, 6'3" and a 1/4 inch. Weight 199.6, but guess what? Wingspan an inch shorter than his height, 6'2" and a 1/4.
Shorter arms.
Then, I mean, it's pretty rare for an NBA prospect to have what they call negative splits on your wingspan. Almost all of them, their wingspan is a higher number, a longer distance than their height, because it helps a bunch. That could be enough right there to make NBA prospects go, we want to see more in college. Or maybe you won't get drafted as high as you're hoping. You should go take that big fat dollar offer that Duke offered you to stay in college. Even if he has a really good combine, sometimes those weird things make NBA prospects fall. And luckily for him, he has the option that he called a win-win. He can go back. He can go to not even back to Duke. He can go to Duke, play for a national championship, make a bunch of money, and then go into the NBA and, just looking for an opportunity rather than I need to go high to justify not going to Duke.
So on ESPN, their mock draft they did after the NBA lottery was announced earlier this week, back on Sunday, they did a full 60-player, both rounds of the draft. Blackwell's not even a player that's even on the draft board.
There you go. Think about it. The only question I would ask was Coward there last year at this time? It felt like he came out of nowhere, ended up going, I think it was 11th or 12th in the draft. You can, I guess, do that at the combine if you're a little bit more underrated. Although it's different. I should say this for Duke fans before it's all doom and gloom. Coward was coming from a much less spotlit area.
Mm-hmm.
Blackwell's been playing at Wisconsin. He averaged 20-something points per game in the Big Ten. So it's not like if he plays well at the combine, everybody's going to go, where did that come from? He's so much better than I thought. They've been watching. So it's probably more likely that he returns than Coward. But anytime the guy says, it's up in the air, I'm waiting to see, you're going to be a little bit worried about it. And technically, by the way, everybody has till May 27th to pull their name out of the NBA draft. That's true for, everyone all the way up to Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson. Although, why would you if you're going to be a top 5 pick? But Henry Vasar, Isaiah Evans, again, very unlikely. They seem 100% committed to the NBA. But if they get absolutely horrendous feedback from scouts, they could return to school if they want to. It's possible. What number was that? That number was number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
The ACC, coaches, administrators, front office, I'd assume now. Got to add them there. The GMs are all at their annual spring meetings. It's politics is what it is. It's getting together and it's discussing platforms and futures and what do you think? Here's what we're predicting. Here's what we hope. Here's what we're doing well. Here's what we need to do better. I guess. All right, let me take a step back and say this the right way because I don't want to talk down upon any programs. I believe college sports now are much more individual entities than they are conferences. There was a point in time back in the day where if an ACC commissioner asked the teams in the ACC, hey, we need to do this, can we all do it? There would be like a handshake and they would all try to do it for the betterment of their conference because so much of the power you had came from the conference you were within. Nowadays, it's a lot more about individual brand, right? Nowadays, it's a lot more about I need to be able to make as much money off my program. And you could argue the ACC allowed that or even ushered that in by bringing in Notre Dame as a partial member, right? Notre Dame very much wasn't there for the betterment of the ACC. They're there as far as it benefits Notre Dame. And in the sport where they don't think it does, they are not in the ACC. So when you get together for things like the annual spring meetings, commissioner might stand up there, or somebody from the ACC might stand up there and say, hey, we need to schedule tougher non-conference games. Hey, we need to be more open to this, that, neutral site games. We need this, we need that. Hey, let's not tamper with other rosters in our conference. If we're going to tamper, try to go outside the conference. Miami. And it might have been listened to back in the day. Nowadays, I think it's like, well, if it benefits me, I'll listen. Because there's more individualism, right? Duke was negotiating with Amazon for basketball games separate from. They also had to negotiate with the ACC's media partner to allow them to go do the Amazon thing, and they weren't like, and I'll take Pittsburgh and Syracuse with me. They didn't do that. So these meetings, when everybody gets together, I still think there is like the old school, deals are made on the golf course type stuff, right? Deals are made in the happy hours. They're still talking, but I think it's really with like your clique. Who do you think is similar to you? Who do you think has similar brand power to you? Who do you think are the real power brokers? You talk to them. I don't know, like metaphorically, hypothetically is probably the right word there. If there is one representative from every ACC school and they're at a happy hour, there's probably like Clemson, Florida State at a stand-up table. They're chatting, right? There's probably Carolina, UVA at another section, and they're chatting, and right, there's these little cliques, right? And you're trying to do what's best for you with the teams that you think have similar wants and needs. Which I think would be a really interesting fly-on-the-wall situation to be at the spring meetings if you can just watch to see how everybody interacts. You might have the misfit toys on the side like Boston College and Pitt, and they're just yelling about the bullies. So what's going on right now? As far as things to decide, I don't think there's a ton that's going to be decided. I don't think new rules are going to come out of it. I don't think they're going to be extending offers to, Memphis to join the ACC or anything crazy. UCF, let's try to poach them. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think it's mostly just predictions and talking about the future. How do you see it? Where do we stand? What do we need to get stronger at? That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
The 1! Blake hands it off for Hall. Hall, skate to stick out in front. Stankoven scores! Logan Stankoven comes up with a monster goal, his 7th of the postseason, and the Canes take a 2-1 lead as they put some stank on it.
There's been a lot of stank all over the Canes in the first 2 rounds. Stankoven, that is. Carolina Hurricanes were back on the ice practicing today after a couple days off. Hard-earned, well-deserved days off. The tangible news is everybody was there. Everybody was available. Everybody was skating, which is a great sign at the beginning of a long break because a lot of times long breaks, you're like, oh, so-and-so can get healthy. This one, they're starting off that way. Today, there was also some media availability. Dennis was there grabbing some audio, so let's play it for you, starting with Sebastian Aho saying it's all about the W's this time of year.
All that matters is winning right now, and obviously we know we gotta be better in certain areas, but at the same time, like I said, it's wins is the only thing that matters right now. I've had series in the past that had some success in myself, but then losing the series, and trust me when I say this is way more fun, and this is exactly what we're supposed to do, is win hockey games, and that's like I say, all that matters.
It's a bit of like the and actually this is a PSA to listeners out there. We're going to have a bunch of hockey conversations before the Eastern Conference Finals get started, right? It's part of the fun of having a team that's still alive this time of year is you get to debate things, you get to dissect them, you get to have conversations. I need to think of a name for this rule, but it's the, like, if you and your friends go in on a lottery ticket when it's like $1 billion, and then somebody says, all right, everybody, if we win and we all get $150 million, what's the first purchase? And somebody says, like, I want to buy a boat. I'm going to buy a yacht. Somebody goes, oh, I'm going to buy an apartment in New York City. And somebody says, and then you get to the last person and they go, like, I'm going to start a charitable foundation to help eradicate child hunger in my area. It's like, all right. I mean, your answer is correct. You win. You win. Way to go. But that's not fun, right? Like earlier today, I've said this a few times. You can head to my Twitter and vote. I asked, who do you want to see in the Eastern Conference Finals? If you got to choose, if the hockey god said you have to choose Montreal or Buffalo, who do you want? And somebody's in the comments going, I don't know, man. I just want to win the cup. Okay, great. You get the right answer. It's all about wins. Great. That's not fun. That's not the debate, right? Where I'm asking you Montreal or Buffalo. Similar to when we do like if-then statements, and it's like, if blank happens, then the team will win. If they score more goals, I don't care how they do it. Great, you win. Way to ruin the game for everybody. Like, you play it in the spirit. Sebastian Aho, it's all about getting wins. Yeah, it is. I agree. You're right. There's nothing we can really say to negate that because it's the correct answer. Let's hear more from Aho, though, about the difficulty to stay mentally sharp maybe this time of year. Here is, once again, number 20.
The one thing I love about Group, when we show up to work, we work, right? Like you guys said, like there's no. Whenever we practice, coaches probably have a better idea, and like the team, like what could, I don't even know what the scenarios when we can't even start to play. So I think you show up to work and you work your butt off, right? That's the kind of the way. And then on your downtime, do whatever you want. So right, so it's just I think the practices are high pace, high intensity, and that's how you stay sharp physically. And obviously we had one of these breaks between round 1 and 2, so we have a little bit of understanding what we should do. And I think I have no worries about this team. I think we'll be ready whenever we start.
Do you know who I attribute a lot of that to? And it's obviously an everybody thing. Nobody gets all of the credit. I call Jordan Martinook the heart and soul of the team. I get the vibe from Martinook that he is somebody that very much understands when you can have fun and maybe even goof off, or if you score a goal in practice, you can do a big celebration. You can have the fun of it, but also that's only possible when the work is being done. Right? You heard Sebastian Aho right at the beginning say, right, when this team gets together, we work. When it's time to work, we work. I think they walk the line appropriately of, Seth Jarvis, my two dads jokes, or like whatever the jokes, the fun is, and then also like grinding when you need to, right? And it's not easy to do. Right, a lot of teams kind of try to walk that line and end up one way or the other, right? Where they're so tense and so work hard, everything work hard that they like burn out by this time of year. And then some teams are so like, hey, we're fun, we're loosey-goosey, that they're not locked in when they need to be. The Canes appear to have the pH balance appropriate, right? Like they're balanced out the right way to go on a run, which is what they've been doing. And that's really, really good. Really, really necessary. Especially individual players, as like maybe you're playing well or not playing well, if you can stay even keel and heck, maybe even still laugh at a joke that someone else makes and then lock in, like that's worth its weight in gold. You need those reliefs, comic relief. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a bunch of audio from Rod Brindamore today as well. We're going to play that during the 5:45 segment. So if you want to hear from the head guy, the head coach, as they get ready for the Eastern Conference Finals, keep it tuned right here for the rest of the hour. If you want to win the numbers game and win a pair of tickets in the process to see the NC Courage take on Chicago Stars FC at Wake Med Soccer Park later this month, May 16th, that is, you need to call in now. We need 2 contestants for the numbers game. The number is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and potentially win a pair of tickets to see the NC Courage May 16th, Wake Med Soccer Park. Call in now, 860-5326. We need 2 contestants. Numbers game next.
The Adam Gold Show.
When you look at all the Stanley Cup favorites, Carolina's definitely one of them, and they have almost every element you need. They can score like crazy, and they do it with depth. They do it with speed. They're not just a dump-and-chase forechecking team like they've been in the past. They're as good off the rush as almost anybody in the league. The defense, pretty good since the Olympic break, but it'll get better. Can the goaltending hold up?
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Sound Station and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Sound Station and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Sound Station and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Sound Station and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
Jungle Cashword Scratch-Offs and Digital Instance games are here.
2 ways to play.
Yeah. Play Scratch-Offs like you do.
Scratch it.
Play Digital Instance on your phone.
2 ways to win.
Right. 2 ways to find letters and complete words. 2 ways to win up to $150,000.
That's a lot of crackers.
Jungle Cashword from the North Carolina Education Lottery. 2 ways to play, 2 ways to win instantly. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.79 to 3.90. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Dave in Fuquay-Varina as one of the contestants. We have Nick in Raleigh as his competitor. They'll be battling it out with numbers game trivia to see who wins the tickets to see some really good soccer later this week. May 16th, the NC Courage take on the Chicago Stars FC at Wake Med Soccer Park. So, we'll bring each of our contestants onto the air, ask them the same question. Dennis will be the judge. He'll pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. And then we'll go from there. We'll start with Dave in Fuquay-Varina. Dave, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Let's say you are, for this question, a Carolina Hurricane. And you have this long break between the second round and the Eastern Conference Finals, and there's a game for the teams you're going to be playing tonight. What are you doing for the game? Who are you getting together with? Where are you going? Home? Out to eat? How are you watching the game if you're a Carolina Hurricane?
I guess just in your man cave.
Solo? Is anybody else in there with you? Give us some details.
Solo.
All right, solo in the man cave. Dennis, any follow-ups?
No
All
questions.
Right, cool. Let's roll to Nick in Raleigh. Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, same question to you. For this question, you are hypothetically, imaginary, a member of the Carolina Hurricanes. You've punched your ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals. You have some time. Your potential opponents are playing tonight. How are you watching the game? Where are you watching the game? Who are you watching it with?
I'm probably relaxing, watching with my family on the couch, spending time with family to recharge for the next round.
All right. You are locked in. Dennis, you get to choose between, I guess, kind of locked in and focused, solo in the man cave, or family room couch with the family trying to recharge. That's Dave's answer and Nick's answer.
I mean, they're pretty similar when you think about it.
It's really just the presence of your family.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. Like, what if you're a single person? Like, maybe you're just a man cave. Maybe that's all your place is. But obviously, if you got
like
time
a
for your
straight
family.
bachelor pad, could be.
I'm probably going to
Do
lean
you think
here.
these millionaires have like roommates? Like think they're like, hey,
They might actually.
they all might be rooming together.
I'm gonna go with Nick on this one, just for
Okay.
the simple fact that there's a couple new dads on the Carolina Hurricanes team. So I'm gonna go with the dads on this one. I'll go with Nick. I'll go with Nick and Raleigh on this one. Though chilling in the man cave is pretty nice.
They probably have some sweet man caves too.
I bet they do.
So Nick gets to go first. Dave, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a
So we
second.
do our own version of Cribs.
Yeah,
Canes version.
I would love to see, like if they're on an off night and they're watching hockey, I would love to see their setups. Probably multiple screens, probably video games going on one for some of the guys. There's some memorabilia that we would think is really cool that for them is just like, oh yeah, that's my old stick. Like it's just some banana stuff. All right, let's go to Nick. Nick gets to go first. Again, Dave will have to wait. Nick, are you ready to pick your category?
Yeah, I am.
All right. We have NFL, Panthers only. We have Major League Baseball players that have won the batting title sometime since 2006. We have NBA players that are still, their teams are still playing in the playoffs or recently been eliminated, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's do the MLB batting title.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There'll be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, I'm ready.
All right. Your time will start and you hear the horn. Juan Soto, Washington Nationals.
4.
Incorrect. Mookie Betts, Boston Red Sox.
15.
Incorrect. Juan Soto, Washington Nationals.
2.
Incorrect. Mookie Betts, Boston Red Sox.
2.
Incorrect. Juan Soto, Washington Nationals.
Pass.
Joe Mauer, Minnesota Twins.
13.
Incorrect. Mookie Betts, Boston Red Sox.
50.
Correct. You got one.
Beat the buzzer.
You avoided the shutout. I respect playing to the buzzer. You got the one with Mookie Betts. Juan Soto, you guessed 2. We needed 2 twos. We were looking for 22. And Joe Mauer, number 7, was the number we were looking for. But like I said, you got Mookie Betts right under the buzzer. So we'll see if 1 is good enough for the win. Go ahead and stay on hold. That brings us to Dave. Dave, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right.
I hear you.
Perfect. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, Panthers only, NBA players whose teams either are still live in the playoffs or it's just played in the playoffs. I misread the category the first time. NBA players that played in the playoffs or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's do Panthers football.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. And you need at least 2 for the win. Do you have any questions before we jump in?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Taylor Moton, Carolina Panthers.
15.
Incorrect. Derek Brown, Carolina Panthers.
92.
Incorrect. Taylor Moton, Carolina Panthers.
52.
Incorrect. Derek Brown, Carolina Panthers.
93.
Incorrect. Taylor Moton, Carolina Panthers.
72.
Correct. Jericho Cotchery, Carolina Panthers.
56.
Incorrect. Derek Brown, Carolina Panthers.
81.
Incorrect. So close. You were working in the 90s for Derek Brown. You just had to keep working. You got Moton with 72. Derek Brown, we were looking for 95. Jericho Cotchery, you only got one shot at that one, but 82 was the number. Unfortunately for you, a tie goes to whoever goes first. So while you did get one, you are not today's winner. Hopefully you had some fun, though.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you as well. And that means Nick is the winner. Nick, congratulations.
Appreciate it.
You are winning some pretty sweet soccer tickets. You May 16th, Wake Med Soccer Park. You can see a pretty good soccer game there between the Chicago Stars FC visiting the hometown NC Courage. So congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the tickets. Stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. All right. They fought to the end. I don't know. I don't want to act like it was the best round ever. They fought
not
to
our
the end.
strongest performance, but
they fought to the end. If it's the effort that counts, the effort was there. Need a little better execution.
Not all close results are good games.
There's still another level that they can get to.
Yeah.
But I like the effort. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And seriously, sometimes it only takes a mediocre effort to win some pretty sweet hockey or soccer tickets, which is exactly what happened there for Nick. Is what it is. By the way, if I think I'd get together with the team if we're just answering the question. What would you do if you were on the Canes? If I'm Keandre Miller, Sean Walker, who just had just within the last week or two, newborn babies, obviously family, that's where I'd be going, being with the kid, making sure everybody's good. Might have a little newborn sleeping in your arms while you're watching the games. But if I'm a Cane that has either older kids where, they've got their own busy schedules, or no kids, or even, single bachelor life, I think I'm getting together with the team. The only parallel I can draw is my sophomore year of college. I was at the University of Delaware playing football, and back then the FCS had a pretty big playoff. Yeah, college football, you can have a playoff. It's possible. We did it. And we had a bye through the first round. So the team actually organized us all getting together at a bar on Main Street, or a restaurant, bar and grill on Main Street. And we watched the games. We watched the game for who we were going to play together. Wings, food, everybody was crushing food and laughing and joking and watching. And then immediately after, we did go and watch the film for real because then we had to start preparing for the team. But it was a good time. It was really fun. There's a lot of you're going to have to guard him, right? If somebody has a big play, he ain't doing that about me. And then we'd all laugh, and it wasn't that funny, but we laughed because we're a team, and it was funnier in the moment. I think I would get together with teammates. I can imagine Jarvis, Blake, especially all the bachelors, right? Logan Stankoven, the ones that don't have kids, getting together, watching a game, talking about it, and then hopefully getting to bed early and resting. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, and I do want to get to more of that audio from Rod Brindamore talking about their wait and the trek towards the Eastern Conference Finals. Before we do any of that, Dennis Cox. Oh, wait, this is different.
We have times. Thanks to our good friend Joel Bryant from High School OT popping in and letting me know. We actually have week 1 college football game time, kickoffs.
All right.
So, for example, that's Saturday, August 29th, which is actually a week 0 game. North Carolina versus TCU out in Ireland. That's a noon kickoff. College football in Brazil, that same day.
Wait, noon Ireland time or noon our time?
Noon Eastern time.
Okay.
Noon Eastern time. And then we have the game down in Rio between NC State and Virginia. That is a 3:30 Eastern time. So we have our kickoff time.
Those are both week 0?
Those are week 0 games. So we actually have kickoff times for those week 0, but we actually have some games, some other games, for example, like East Carolina, week 1 has to go to Alabama. That's a noon kickoff.
Goodness.
So we have that one as well. SMU at Florida State, that's a Monday night football game. Week 1, SMU at Florida State, so that's a 7:30 Eastern kickoff as well. Miami at Stanford, the first week of the year. It's a Friday night. Team just in the national championship game. That's a 9 o'clock Eastern kickoff. So we've got a couple games early on in the season, at least some week 1 games.
August 29th is the both the Dublin game and the Rio de Janeiro game?
Same day.
So they'll be back-to-back kind of right at the beginning.
Yeah, 2 local teams.
Both on ESPN, that is North Carolina and NC State, kind of setting the tone for the first Saturday of college football.
That's right. So the Triangle literally is kicking off the college football season on ESPN.
Would be gigantic for both teams to get dubs in those games. Get a couple wins, start it off. The conversion rate, I think a win in another country is worth 2. I don't know if that's true or not, but it should be. Noon, August 29th, Carolina, TCU in Ireland, 3:30, NC State, Virginia, Rio de Janeiro. Bunch of other games throughout the rest of the run have been announced. But that's pretty big. I like it. I like both of those games, times and all that. Now, Dennis, you have something else that you would like to go ahead and tell everybody?
Oh, yes, I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. Speaking of schedules and speaking of timing, when you're going a long motorcycle trip, build in some time to give yourself a little bit of time to rest. So if you're going to go on a long ride over an hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours long, build in that stop. Build in that stop at a gas station. You can fill up the tank, use the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. But allow your body to rest, because sometimes I think we forget as motorcycle riders that it requires your full body to handle a motorcycle. It's different when you're sitting in a car. You can have one hand on the steering wheel. You can put it on cruise control, and you let your body relax a little bit. You can't really do that as a motorcycle rider. Got to have two hands on the handlebars. Both feet have to be engaged. Got to use your legs as well. Your body actually can tire out over the course of a long ride. So build in some extra rest for yourself in case you're going to go on long motorcycle rides. But if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you get in touch with the insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
We will be back with audio from Rod Brindamore. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
The Carolina Panthers continue their evolution now 3 years into this front office, and there's promise. What started year one as a refresh turned into a rebuild, and with the latest draft, we see reinforcement. The fifth-year option on Bryce Young, now icing. It's a different mantra from the let's develop dogs mentality. Now it seems, let the dogs hunt.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Step between the lines when you download the High School OT mobile app presented by State Employees Credit Union. It's easier than ever to find the coverage you want for the sports and schools you cheer for the loudest. Receive up-to-minute alerts, scores, videos, insider content, and the latest high school sports news across the state of North Carolina. Available now on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the High School OT mobile app presented by State Employees Credit Union.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-350-5858. That's 1-800-350-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-350-5858. That's 1-800-350-5858.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
It just stopped on me.
No,
you know,
right.
it's what it is.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Spotify's being a little funky today, so it's what it is.
All right. Well, either way, you are listening here to 99.9 The Fan. Sometimes my brain glitches, but I always kind of log on back as quickly as I can for you.
That's what you got to do.
Machines don't always work the same.
They don't.
But we do our best. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As promised before the break, we do have audio for you from Rod Brindamore. One of the reasons that I believe the Canes should look at a long break between the second round and the Eastern Conference Finals as a positive, one is because you can't control it, so complaining about it doesn't fix anything. Two is because they have Rod Brindamore leading the show, and the guy's been through everything. Right, he's had long breaks, short breaks. He's done it as a player, as a coach. He's been around it. He's talked to people, and if there is a way to maximize the help, if there is a way to maximize the impact positively that your team can have, I think it's within his playbook. He just has to pull out the right plays at the right time. So let's hear from Rod. On the break, being just as much a mental reset as it could be a physical one, here is the head coach of the Canes, Rod Brindamore.
We did have
recent experience with this because that's what we had last series. So kind of have an idea. I think that worked, what we did, which is, obviously get them back out there. We got to stay sharp, but we're not diving in too much into anybody and worrying about our stuff. And, you got to stay physically sharp. And then when it starts getting closer to when we know we might play, you start really dialing it up. But it's important for the guys to stay physically sharp, but I think mentally it's okay to kind of get away from it for a little bit because, the playoffs is a grind mentally and physically. So I think the mental rest is actually probably better for us than the actual physical rest.
You know why it's really smart to frame it in that way? Because they don't have a ton of guys dealing with big injuries. I don't think he was saying like last break was more a mental reset than a physical one because it was about physically getting Nikolai Ehlers and Alexander Nikishin back. But they practiced today and everybody was on the ice. I don't think everybody is 100%. I don't think anybody in the NHL is 100% at this point in the season. But a mental reset, yeah, you can definitely use that even if you're healthy. There's just a burnout and exhaustion that goes on with this time of year. Matter of fact, let's go to the Aho clip where he's talking about Aho's confidence because I think there's a link there that I want to talk about. Rod Brindamore was asked how he can get Sebastian Aho's confidence back, and this is what he said.
Well, I don't think he's not confident. He's actually played well. He's just not on a score sheet. But their line defensively is actually probably the best he's played, their whole line ever. What their way they're going about it, they're not scoring. That's where we talk about the power play. They're the ones getting the most ice time on those. They got to connect. They've been better. We've had a lot of good looks last game. They got to execute, put it in the back of the net. But I always say they're playing against the other team's best guys, and they've sobbed that off. Whether they scored 15 goals and given up 15, that's the same thing. So they've done a good job, and we do need them to get on the score sheet. He knows that, but I've been happy with the way they've gone about their business.
All of that is true. Okay, I'm not gonna pretend like I could correct Rod Brindamore on a hockey opinion, but I've been batting this idea around. Dennis, I want you to tell me if I'm way off here. And I'm not the only one that had it. I saw a few other people on social media, but I have been thinking this. What are the possibilities that Sebastian Aho might just be tired? He didn't get the Olympic break because he was putting the Finland team on his back.
Yeah, that he was.
He is also, and I know we have even more recent new dads, but he is also a dad to a young child, which can eat into your leisure and relax and recovery time. They've been going on long postseason runs a lot. And it's talked about more in the NBA than in the NHL. Just like your offseason is shorter if you're going to the conference finals in the second round every single year. And you might not get that recovery. You throw in the travel to Finland. You throw in the fact that he does so much. Like he is always asked to be a high leverage, high effort player, and he comes through with high effort every single time. If there's one person who I think might benefit the most from wow, this is a really long break between the second round and the Eastern Conference Finals, I think it might be Aho just because it's hey, natural fatigue adds up, and if he shows up with a little bit extra gusto in the sprint in the first couple strides, I think that could change a lot.
I think there could be a little bit to that, but I also say this as well, is that Nikolai Ehlers also played in the Olympics. Didn't play in quite as many games, but Ehlers played in the Olympics. So did Freddie Anderson play in the Olympics. Now, Freddie also missed a chunk of time early in the season, but that's possible. But we did see Aho get a bunch of rest. We did see Aho get a bunch of rest late this season. I mean, Seth Jarvis also played in the Olympics too.
Yep.
I mean, so it's a real thing. But some of those guys were scorching hot late in the season. I don't know. I mean, it could be a byproduct of that, maybe, but you have basically a week between first round and second round. In this round, second round to the conference final, you're looking at a week plus now. I think, I don't relative. I think he's going to be as healthy and as fresh as you can get.
I completely. I'm not saying it's the difference between having 3/4 of a tank of gas and 1/4. I'm saying it could just be right. Life's a game of inches. It might be the just the hair thing that if he comes back with just a little extra spry, just a little extra spring in his step, might be the difference between, skipped over his stick and, he was in perfect position and potted the goal. Could be. I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. We'll let you bat it around, and then we'll reconvene on the subject later.
But like Rod said, he's been tremendous defensively, which
takes a lot of effort.
Skating.
Which takes a lot of effort. That's builds into it, right? Like he does not get to do what a lot of top line centers do across the league, which is be a little joggy, a little position-y on defense, and look, we have the puck. I have all my energy. Like he is somebody that empties the turbo for the video game fans out there, right? His turbo bar is going down when he's on defense just as much as it is when he has the puck and gets to be hunting a goal. That's just the way it goes when you're a Carolina Hurricane playing for Rod Brind'Amour. Let's hear more from Rod Brind'Amour, at least another clip or two. What about the notion that the Canes had a easy road to the playoffs, which is to the Eastern Conference Finals in the playoffs, which is part of the narrative around the Canes sweep through the first two rounds. Here's Rod Brind'Amour.
Well, anyone who says that is just wasting time for me. I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, Ottawa was the 9th best team in the league. That was our first round matchup, so. And Flyers, I think, had the best record in the NHL last 30 games. So it's like, it's really not worth our time to go into that.
Well,
no lies detected.
I agree. But even let's just play the string out a tiny bit. Let's say the Canes had an easy path to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what else they had? The number 1 seed. You're supposed to have the easiest path to the Eastern Conference Finals when you are the number 1 seed in the East. You're supposed to. That's how the bracket is a joke, the way they format it and the way the things are. And sometimes you get messed over when you're a top seed. But in this case, if they got the easy path, they're supposed to, because they won most of the games during the regular season. It's a broken clock. It's a broken format, but it worked this time of day. Like it's right occasionally. It's what's supposed to happen. If you wanted the easiest path, you should have gotten more points in the regular season than the Canes did. I just don't understand it. One more here from Rod Brind'Amour. Let's go to Jackson Blake, because Jackson Blake, part of that Hall, Stankoven, Blake line that's so electric. He used the term, there's another level to get to. And I believe Logan Stankoven used a similar verbiage, and Rod Brind'Amour was asked what it means when that phrase is used by one of his young players.
Well, I think he's just referring to everyone's own game. I love it. I mean, not satisfied, even though those guys, you'd be hard-pressed to, say you got to be better. I love that they're the ones saying that. Because I think, listen, we can be better at certain areas. We can score more on the power play. We can, can we be more efficient in certain areas? Yeah. And then we're going to have to be as we move on. I just love that that's how they're thinking.
Listen, as soon as I think I saw Stankoven say it. As soon as it was said, my brain went to, they're fully indoctrinated into the Rod Brind'Amour like cult. If that's a way to, they think they've bought into the mantras. They're saying the self-affirmations. They are all in. These young guys are so embedded in Canes culture. They went sweep. Their line, I think they tallied 33 points, and the rest of the team combined had 40 for the Canes. They're electric, and you talk to them, they're like, well, there's still another level we can get to. It's Rod Brind'Amour permeating through his young players and out to the media and everything else. I'm sure he is proud to hear them talk like that, and that's a good culture when the coach doesn't have to say it. When it's kind of the self-fulfilling prophecy amongst the players, it's working out for the Canes. Things are going well. Keep it up in the Eastern Conference Finals. Never lose that hunger to get better. That's it for the drive. Overdrive coming up next. Have a great night, everybody.
Golf's second major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen for coverage all week long of the PGA Championship from Aronimink Golf Club in Pennsylvania. Find out if Scotty can go the distance again or if a new champion emerges. We'll have leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the Wanamaker Trophy. The PGA Championship on 99.9 The Fan is teed up by McConnell Golf, where members experience 17 club properties across 4 states with 1 membership.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
I'm Neil, founder of Cleveroom.